What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, aka ToeTagginTambo, back for another edition of the very early, but not as early as could be. I'm sure the boys are happy with the daylight saving time this week, but the Off the Chalk show here at RPS got it free for you guys over here on YouTube. Want to get you guys to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on the way in. We are going to ask throughout, but I'm going to bring in my guys right out of the gates. We have a great slate here to talk about. A lot of guys that we're going to go through. Start with my main man, JT Hayes. Got him on the Thursday show this week over on the Mayo Media Network, and we're back again, JT Hayes. Here you are. What's going on, my man? How you doing?
Happy Sunday morning. Yeah, we did get an extra hour of sleep. I was a good boy last night, though. I watched a little bit of the disaster that is the Los Angeles Lakers, and that was enough to put me to sleep early. So I'm up and excited, and was already looking at ownership projections, line movement, and I know that we're going to talk a lot about this, but it looks to me, just as I look at some projections, what the optos are spitting out, looks like we could see a pretty chalky slate here with a lot of very similar popular plays. And those are the ones that I like. There's good opportunities to get, as we say here, off the chalk. So really, really good slate here for week 9.
Yeah, and before I flip it to UAP, just remind everybody real quick what the show is all about. We're going to be going through position by position. If you are joining us for the first time, going to be talking DraftKings pricing, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receiver, tight end. We even throw a little bit of defense in at the end, and we're just going to talk about who's the chalk for the week, what you can do with them, ways to get different with it maybe, and then, of course, plays you can go off the chalk and get completely different altogether. And I think this is a great slate for that. But AP, my main man, how you doing?
Doing excellent. So had the neighbors over. We're watching the fights last night. Polish off a nice bottle of Basil Hayden's, so feeling good. Woke up this morning and I was like, oh shit, like I got 5 minutes to get ready for this show. And then I remembered daylight savings time saved me for sure. We're ready to go. Feeling excellent here with my two guys. The slate looks wonderful. Like JT said, there's some chalk I want to eat. But then I think there's some nice leverage plays to get us just different enough in tournaments to help us win. And we're coming off a really nice week last week. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the content was on point. I think I 4X my buy-ins, which is the best result I've had so far in NFL. So I'm looking to do that again.
Yeah, I have to keep putting a theme to it. I talked to JT Hayes about this, but week 7, I just said, week 7's a lucky number. Let's hit. Didn't work. So week 8, I said would be great. Couple King of the Beach seats. Pretty happy about that. I got my half office done here. I put the King of the Beach third place trophy up top, trying to get a number 1 spot. And then, of course, Big T dropped the ball bag on me, as he said on Twitter on Thursday night, to take away another potential seat for myself and another RPS member. And if you guys aren't in the Discord, that's where all the fun happens. You're going to want to get over there. You can use promo code RPSHeater25. Get yourself 25% off your first month and get in there. Of course, today we have this show. Then we've got the Morning Wood. And then we'll be leading right up with our premium show, Up to Lock, JSU, Holden, JJ. But for this week, I'm naming it, JT. I'm naming it Week 8. Week 8 was great. I said week 9 is mine. That's what I'm going with this week. So I'm going to take this one down. I'm excited for it. There's a lot to talk about. So guys, do me a favor. I'm not sure if the like button is working. So can you guys just check for me? Just hit that little thumbs up. See if that thing's working down in the corner. We're trying to see if that works. Get up to 100 right quick before we get rolling here. But let's dive into it, guys. We have a big slate ahead of us. We want to get right to the plays. So let's start with quarterback. We'll go with UAP. We're going to jump right into it. Man, I'm not giving everything away, but people really like Lamar Jackson this week. I'm sadly the one that's not on him. He's my team, the Ravens. I love those guys, but I like some of the other options there. But this week, it looks like the chalk is going to be Lamar. It's going to be Josh Allen, and then somewhere between Hurts and spreading out across some of those other game environments, maybe Houston, Miami, or, Chargers and Philly. AP, what are you doing here with these 3 guys at the top? And then who are some of the guys you're going off the chalk?
Yeah, so I'm like you. I pull up one piece of content. I don't want to give it away either, but we are where's that GIF? The skipping down the street, like locked arm in arm. We're locked arm in arm across the board. Many of us on a few different plays, but one of them is definitely Lamar. You got to love the rushing upside. You got to love the projected game environment here. There's just so much to like, and for me, I landed on a really nice build. So I was just like, you know what? I could get cute in my main in my main build. I really like Justin Herbert, but the build I landed on just looked so good that I had to list it there in my core plays. But Lamar Jackson, I think is chalk I want to eat this week. I just, for everything I said, the rushing upside, the projected game environment, the overall total. And then you can correlate it with his pass catchers. Hollywood Brown is just too cheap. The target share has been there. And you could even go as far as stacking Mark Andrews there too. I just think they're not priced where they should be relative to the game environment and the projections. So I really like Lamar this week. Snyder, if your boy lets me down, I swear I'm going to drive across town and find you, and we're going to have a talk. But I forget. Tambo, it's your guy too, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's what I said.
Baltimore
it's funny enough. I'm the only one that's not high on Lamar this week, and I get why people are on him, but there's just so many other plays that I like more, and you can't play them all. I want to run a pretty condensed pool, and at his ownership where he's at, the price is fair, but it's like Bateman, and I like Hollywood Brown. I'll get into that later on. I think he's a good way you can go across. I like Conklin and some of the Minnesota guys on the other side, so I can see getting after it for a mini stack, but JT Hayes, I'll let you get a crack at it, and we'll come back, AP. We'll go through some more plays that you like down below, but we usually spend a little bit of time on quarterback just because ownership's pretty spaced out, but it can lead to a lot of the other situational stuff, like which running backs we get into our stacks, if any, which wide receivers, tight ends, that sort of stuff, so it does flow quite nicely. JT Hayes, what are you doing here with these guys at the top, and then maybe who are some other guys that you like below them?
Yeah, I like Lamar too, Tammo. I'm disappointed to hear you say that you don't like him. And I know the point that you're making. I think you can get similar upside at a cheaper price this week, right? I think there's some I guess under the radar plays that are lower priced at quarterback. But I like him with Andrews. I like this spot for Andrews. I think yes, Brown and Andrews are underpriced, so. I like that spot quite a bit. I like bringing it back with Justin Jefferson. Jefferson coming off of 2 bad games. He's the third or fourth highest priced wide receiver on this slate. And I think that he's got the capability to break big games. So that's one way that I'm looking at going. The other way, I do like Josh Allen as well. And I think that Stephon Diggs is going to finally have that ceiling spot this week. He's priced at just 7.7 on DraftKings. He's my favorite wide receiver on the slate. Especially up top. I'm going to have him in most of my lineups. And then there's one other one that I'm not sure if I'm going to go there. And we talked about this on Thursday night. If we like Mike Gesicki, I liked Devontae Parker before I cursed him, and now he's on IR. And if we like Jalen Waddle because he's going to get 12 to 15 targets this week against Houston, then why don't we like Tua at 5.8? Probably because of the name, of the injury history. Nobody likes playing Tua, but it was just 3 weeks ago where he was on every winning lineup with nearly 30 DraftKings points. And that's just a few points higher than what the Texans have been giving up to opposing quarterbacks. So I think there's a couple of pieces from that Miami team that are in play along with Tua.
Yeah, and I don't hate that. The point you made there will come up when we get to running back as well. I think Myles Gaskin is getting a lot of conversation, and that would definitely be a way to get off the chalk a little bit there. Leverage that by going with a stack of Tua, Waddle, Gesicki, maybe Preston Williams, something like that, where you can get a little bit unique and then run it back with a Houston guy like Cooks or Nico Collins with Tyrod Taylor back at the helm there might unlock him a little bit. So I definitely don't hate that. AP, I'll let you talk about who you want to, but first I'm going to steer you in one direction, and it might be the shirt you have on. That color combination looks familiar. I'm not sure if that is a Chiefs shirt over there, but what about your boy, Patrick Mahomes, man? What's going on here? No ownership really when you think about it for what we usually see under 8K. What are your thoughts on him? And then give me the other guys that you want to talk about at quarterback this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm definitely going to have a few pieces of Patrick Mahomes in just kind of onslaught builds where, I could see. I don't want to spend too much time. We all know I'm the resident, Patrick Mahomes, Chief Homer, and so I'm not going to go and just stroke them because I can't, because they haven't been that good. But one way to think about this game, if the Packers do what these other teams have done, and for some reason they can't figure it out, just playing that zone scheme and keeping everything in front of them and just, baiting Patrick Mahomes into throwing deep, which Mahomes can't help himself. It's like, man, you have a free 5 yards every single play, and he's just, chomping at the bit to throw it deep, and that's where teams are getting them. But if you run that game script, I do like Darrell Williams. You know, that he could get a ton of looks right out there in the flat as kind of that safety valve. We saw last week 6 receptions on 6 targets, 13 rush attempts. Derek Gore got in there. I'm not going to play him, but he looked decent. But I do think Darrell Williams is a fine play, and we'll get into running back. But if I'm playing Mahomes, it's in a script where the Chiefs just turn it on and it's like an onslaught build. So it's like Mahomes plus 2 of his weapons. And I don't even feel the need to necessarily have a bring back, but I do think, getting one of these cheaper pieces from the Packers side might be the route that you go. But that's how I'm playing Mahomes. The guy, a game that I think could turn into a shootout, I got to go back to Justin Herbert. I was very high on him last week. He didn't. I guess he did kind of bust. He did get 2 touchdowns, but he still did enough to return me some money. I like this environment against the Eagles. We saw the Eagles defense look good last week, but that was against the Lions. So we can't really, factor that game into our analysis, in my opinion, because the Lions are just terrible right now. But I think this game could be a sneaky shootout, little back and forth environment where Justin Herbert plus Keenan Allen, maybe Austin Eckler, that type of stack with a run back of Devontae Smith or Dallas Goedert. Justin Herbert is another guy that's projected to be under 5% owned. That could have a monster day. So that's where I'm going as far as off the chalk goes. But I have no problems at all just getting up to Lamar Jackson and eating that chalk.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the cheap guys in a minute because there's specifically one that I know people are going to want to talk about. Guys, almost at that 100 likes right out of the gate. So we love to see that. 5 more for the very early 100 likes. The 5 dislikes, very hurtful, as JT would say, but that's okay. We don't mind, right? We're here to provide. We appreciate you guys kicking it with us early this Sunday morning. I'll talk about my stuff here at the top first. It's not a case of I don't like Lamar. It's that everybody else does. And for me, I do think there's viable options around Lamar. And that's what it comes down to for me. JT, you mentioned the Josh Allen to Diggs. I think that's viable. I really like that. They kind of connected last week, but not for a huge game or anything. Josh Allen still putting up a decent score with a really bad game, hoping here away from a division game now, which was last week, and getting in against the Jags. I know they're big favorites. There's going to be some Zach Moss conversation maybe at the running back, but I do think you can stack them up. There's other guys too, Sanders, Beasley, Sweeney with no knocks still there. People just aren't looking at these things for a cheaper option. And there's another cheap option at tight end people will talk about later that I think Sweeney could just be a pivot off of, that all he really would have to do is beat the guy I'm talking about, Albert O, when we get there for Denver, who I think a lot of people are going to this week talking about chalk at the tight end. The other guys for me going down, I mentioned Mahomes because I like it. First time, I could easily see this being the slate where afterwards nobody really played him and everyone goes, well, of course, Mahomes finally shows up, and I'll take my chances on that. Has not been great. But the other thing is, don't forget this side of things. The Chiefs have been allowing a ton of points in general, real life points, which equates to fantasy points, which allows Mahomes to be in more of a game. That could lead to the cheap guy we'll talk about in a minute, maybe having to have a bit of a game. But I also think, like AP said, the Chiefs could just stomp them, and Onslaught could definitely get there with guys that not many are talking about in Kelsey, Hill, Hardman, all the guys we normally talk about that this week nobody really wants to mention. Other guys for me just going down, Justin Herbert, I like your call there, AP. I think that's a way to go there, but I do like Burrow, and I want to bring this up. I know JT always gets down on me a little about this. This is a division game. We talked about a little on Thursday. I think this is the thing. The one thing I'll bring up, and myself, JSUK Phallic, we do the review show every week over at RPS. If you guys aren't signed up, you can use promo code RPS Heater 25 and see that show every week. But one thing we talked about was the week that Donovan Peoples-Jones sort of broke the slate, and then people said, how the heck would anyone have ever got to DPJ here? And the way to get there was to play the quarterback stack on the other side, and naturally you would have him as a run back the other way. And I think with guys like Rashard Higgins, with DPJ this week, all of those guys, the way to get them into your lineups is to play some Burrow stacks, because Burrow just continuously is easy to stack. Here's the thing I like about it. The lineups are either good or they're bad. And it sounds quite obvious, but what I mean by that is if we get the classic division game, mind you, this division game has had quite a few points, real life points in the past couple years. But if we get the ground and pound, smash and grab, no points type of game, the lineups were dead anyways. But if you get the opposite, that's how you have yourself unlocked to a path of a game I don't think as many people are talking about, and plays that not as many people will be on. They may talk about them, but as I always say, will they click the button? And that's Rashard Higgins, DPJ, guys like that. Landry even are getting some talk, but just will they even get played that much? I think Chubb gets run in this spot, but most people don't want to go the full way and overstack the game. So for me, that's another one. Any thoughts on that, AP? And then if not, let's talk about Jordan Love. We've got him here in the cheap spot for Green Bay in that same game against Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, I always have interest in Joe Burrow, obviously, plus his pass catchers, especially if you get the right game environment. I mean, I got to move over to Jordan Love, though. 4.4K. Do you guys think it's going to be chalk? I mean, that's just like going against Kansas City, like they have been giving up points. We haven't seen this guy in quite some time. I mean, what are you guys doing with him? I'm actually genuinely curious because I don't want to play him at all. But that price tag probably allows you to spend up everywhere, which I don't think you necessarily need on the slate. So I'm off of him as of right now, unless you guys have a strong read on the situation. I don't want to get suckered into playing like a cheap punt quarterback this week.
I don't know if I have a strong read. I wrote up this game for our Gems articles, and it's the first time where I looked, and you get down to the end, which is the DFS Gems, where we want to highlight the best plays. And I'll be honest, AP, I wrote down 6 guys, and that was without Jordan Love. And the reason why is because you talk about a Chiefs stomp. This would be the first time they've done that this season. They just had the Giants in there on Monday night. They're coming off a short week. Let's remember that as well. Packers defense has been league average at least. And then you look at the Chiefs defense, which has been giving up the most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. We know that they're not great against the run. They just got shredded by Devontae Booker. You've got Devontae Adams coming back to this team. And you've got Jordan Love at an almost laughable price point at 4.4K. Now, he's not going to be on my main team, but I did build a lineup. One of the first things I did this week when I saw the price point on Jordan Love, saw that maybe they were going to sign Bortles. But guess what? Bortles isn't even in the player pool. Of course, a risk if Love sucks and you get Bortles in, then you're going to get nothing from him. But look at what you need from Jordan Love at that 4.4K price point. You need maybe 200 yards passing and a touchdown, and he's at value. And you think back, I think it was just 3 weeks ago, Baker Mayfield at 5'8", 5'9", had something like 13 or 14 fantasy points, was on the Millie Maker winner because all of his points came to one receiver. I think that was Peoples-Jones. And then they were able to get the top plays per dollar at every other position. So I made a lineup with Love, Diggs, Justin Jefferson, Gesicki. I've got my favorite defense in there, which we'll get to later. I think it's a way to go. It's not going to, like I said, I wouldn't, if you're playing one lineup, this is not the way I would go. But those of us that are playing multiple lineups in tournaments, we just saw, and I wrote this up in the Gems article, we just saw Mike White hang 405 yards on a better defense in his first NFL start. We saw a backup quarterback on Thursday night. I don't know if he threw for 300 yards, but it had to be damn near close to that with 28 fantasy points. I don't think it's a spot to ignore necessarily.
Yeah, for me, real quick, just I think it's not enough ownership to care. It's you either want to play him or you don't. If I am playing him, I would play him in the sense, and I'm not, but if I was playing him, I'm just letting you know this is what I would do. I would play him with Adams and Hill. I would put 2 of the best ceilings on the slate that are possible and use it to unlock that. And even if you say, oh, that's what everyone's doing. No, they're not. Like there's only 5 or 6% even playing him. No one's really playing those other guys. So if I'm going to use him, I'm going to use it to unlock that game actually going off, not just him or him naked or whatever. I could see if people are doing that in cash games, but in tournaments, it's either he goes or he doesn't. Kind of like how I described the Cincy situation earlier. I just think there's other guys. I would actually, JT Hayes, just back to that thought you had, I would rather go up to like Tyrod Taylor and play him with like a Cooks Collins, run it back with Waddle or Gesicki. He's only $600 more. And I feel like that game environment, a quarterback that we've already seen a lot from in Tyrod, to know that he has the potential, I would try and unlock it in that way. And then the other, this is a little bit more expensive. I'm just going to bring it up because, but one situation, we're not going to go into the details beyond just the fantasy side of things, but I think Derek Carr, with the, the situation they've got there and just how cheap you can stack that side up for. I've already heard a lot of love this week for Kadarius Toney on the other side, for Devontae Booker on the other side. And then there is some love for Waller and for some of those guys in Renfro, I think we'll get to when we get to wide receiver, where don't be scared to go all the way and just go Carr, Renfro, Waller, or Edwards in there or something like that, and use Booker or Tony on the other side. That's definitely a game that I could see 50 plus real life points get put up in, and just nobody's really on it or touching it. So your call on Love, AP, any final thoughts on that before we move on?
Yeah, I was just doing one thing. So I bumped him up to 20 fantasy points in the optimizer. And I like to do this. I like to make some changes and just see like build textures, just to get an idea of what what you could do with different builds. And if you do that, I mean, you can make some really nice builds. And what I would do if I was playing a guy like Jordan Love is I would definitely pair him with Devontae Adams, because I feel like you're betting on the talent of Adams, just that he's so good. One of the best, if not the best receiver in the NFL. Like, so if I'm playing Love, I'm almost always going to be having Adams in that build, but then you can fit some really nice plays in there too. So I'm tempted. I think I am going to add him to my quarterback pool, just because it opens up so much. And I don't think his ownership is going to be that high. I think actually the Chiefs defense, like that might be the more popular route. So, I mean, you're just going against all of those people that are punting with Chiefs defense, which makes sense. And we'll get to defense too, but I like that call. I think you sold me on some Jordan Love there, JT Hayes.
Yeah, some. This is not one.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. And to Tambo's point, I think Tyrod's in play as well, right? But when I started with the Love build, when I got it to zero out, I had what was my favorite defense, which is a higher price defense. And I had those high price wide receivers that I think are in spots where they could put up ceiling games. So, and I like my running backs too. So I didn't have that extra $600-800 to get up to Tyrod, but you could play around with it and come down a little bit. If you go down to Cooks instead of one of those guys, you can absolutely do it with Tyrod as well. So I do think, and that's kind of where I was going when we started, which I was like, hey, there's some ways to get off of that chalk. I think the Raiders are going to end up pretty popular, and I don't know how I feel about it. They responded really well when Gruden was fired. I don't know. They're going across the country, and teams that are going have gone across the country so far this year, west to east. They've had kind of middling performances on the East Coast.
Yeah. Another thing too, just is that's kind of what you said is my thoughts on Love, just to finally round them out, is you can like build your favorite Love lineup and just be done. Throw it in something like, I'll put it in a King of the Beach, $100 single entry or 2 max, whatever those ones are, play it there and be done with it. Build it like that. That's how you could go about it, because like JT Hayes said, once you play them, and AP mentioned it too, you can just get what you want. So just play your favorite plays with them. And that way, if everything that you think in your core goes off and Love makes it all work, then by all means do that. But I feel like once I do that, I'm done with it. And I always like a little bit more balanced construction. There's not a ton of punt plays that I just love out here this week. So that would be the way to go about it if you're doing it. Throw some running backs in the chat, guys. Hit the like button. We're almost at a quick 150 here. This is awesome to see very early. We're just getting into the second position. Appreciate all you guys waking up early to join us on this free show. But I'd say throw some running backs in the chat that you think we're going to talk about here with the chalk. We'll go through as much as we can and then talk about guys we're going to get off the chalk with as well. AP, I'm going to flip it back to you. This is what we're looking at here. You can swing it. We can go more than 3, I guess, because it's like basically Zeke, Eckler, Myles Gaskin, Booker, and Kamara. That's sort of what you're seeing at the top. So I'm adding a couple extras, but you get the point, right? Talk about it. A couple are more expensive in Eckler and Kamara. The other 3, are sort of that balanced mid-range. No real cheap plays in there. But what are you doing here at the running back position this week?
Yeah, I like 2 of those projected chalky plays. Austin Eckler, that game I talked about when we were talking about quarterbacks. Just love the Chargers Philly game. I think that's one. I really like the chances of that one just turning into a shootout. And they're using Austin Eckler in so many different ways. So like on DraftKings specifically, you're getting target share out of the backfield. You're getting his rushing upside. And we've seen these games where he can get you a rushing touchdown and a catching touchdown. And I'm not necessarily sold. Now, I haven't ran like a ton of builds or anything, and I definitely could be wrong. But at that price point, I struggle to see him be as popular as what I'm showing on these projection sites, just because there are a few other cheap running back options that I think could attract some ownership as well. So Eckler, ton of interest in him. My other guy is Kamara. So the one thing that got me a little bit excited about Love, and you know, maybe I'll be rooting for, I still got this bet with Bobby Gomes too. We locked in a Chiefs Green Bay bet. Just straight up, whoever wins early in the week, because, you know, we're in each other's DMs talking shit to each other, which is what we always do over here at RPS. You know, we like to keep it fun. But man, you know, who knows? Maybe the Chiefs suck. And what Love does, when I was just looking at the build I ran, it fit both those running backs in that I like, Alvin Kamara and Austin Eckler. So when I saw that, you know, I had that ooh gif going on. And so it is really interesting. I do like these top running backs. The other guy I'm looking at that, you know, may or may not be in my core is Nick Chubb too. So I just think Chubb under 7K, no Hunt still. He looked good last week. We should see more workload from him this week. He could have one of those monster games too, especially, you know, if Baker's struggling, you know, throwing the ball and stuff. It just sets up to be a Chubb week. And at 6'7", maybe we're getting off the chalk. If those other guys are projected to be chalkier, then, you know, you only can play so many running backs. So I'm hoping that Nick Chubb is going to be a bit lower owned. But yeah, I like spending up at running back this week. The one guy, you know, I don't want to say high on. He's not hitting a lot of my builds, and I'm curious to see what you guys think, is Zeke Elliott. I've just been avoiding these Denver games. You know, I know they are, I believe, in a dome if they're playing in Dallas, but yeah, the pace of those games has just, you know, been terrible. So maybe you guys could sell me on Zeke. I'm kind of torn on him, and you can't play everyone too. You got to take stands, and I just much prefer Eckler and Kamara at this point.
Yeah, I like Eckler quite a bit at the top just to start it off. And yeah, like you said, I'm with you on Chubb. I don't know if this will actually shake out like it projects, but as of right now, it looks like Zeke for $300 more is almost double his ownership. I don't foresee that, but you know, it could be a little tighter, probably is, but I still like Chubb more. I do like some of the passing game, and I forgot to mention this. I'll flip it back for 2 seconds before I flip to you, JT, is definitely in on Dak. We didn't talk about that at quarterback, but the Dak stack is well and alive for me this week. I think it's even more clear they did not activate Gallup. They actually sent Jarwin to the IR. It just makes that stack that much easier with Lamb, who's going to play after the ankle scare, and then Cooper. That stack to me is really live this week. I really do like the Dak stack, so I don't want to go without saying that. I give it all away, make sure everybody knows. The chat's popping off about a bunch of guys, but before we get into some of these off the chalk, they're off the chalk big time. The chat is. We'll get to that, guys. But JT, talk to me about the guys at the top first, and then we'll go through some of these guys there.
Yeah, I like Nick Chubb for sure this week. I see that he's going to be somewhere in the 12 to 15% range, at least projected. Hoping that's a little lower based on the fact that he got a bunch of carries but didn't do much with them last week. A much different defense he's facing this week in Cincinnati. And you mentioned the Baker injury. I think there's a chance they rely on him a little bit more. The thing about Zeke is I do think that it's going to be a good script for the Cowboys and for Zeke. I also think, and we talked about this on Thursday, Tambo, the departure of Von Miller from the Broncos defense is pretty big for a team that was basically league average, maybe a little bit worse against the run. I expect them to get worse against the run, and the popularity doesn't really scare me. It looks like Tony Pollard has receded back into the ether there. I think at the high price point, I think the one guy that I would go with between Kamara and Eckler is Kamara. You've got, I expect Taysom Hill to start here, and Kamara is going to be, I expect, the number one option for him in a matchup that they should dominate against the Atlanta Falcons, and he should get plenty of run there in that game, which is in the Dome. And then you mentioned him early on up top, one guy that I don't think a lot of people are going to be on, or two guys. One guy, Myles Gaskin. Gaskin's still splitting work, is annoying with Ahmed, and then I think they've got Malcolm Brown there. But he does get the bulk of the carries, the bulk of the receiving targets out of the backfield, and Houston is a great team to target opposing running backs. And then you also mentioned Zach Moss. And I think that the Bills are going to have their way with the Jaguars. And I think you can play Josh Allen and Diggs, and you can play Moss, because Moss is kind of that 5K guy that I think unlocks a bunch of other plays for you at the tight end and wide receiver position. And then one last guy that I'm kind of toying with. I liked him on Thursday. We'll see what happens. The only challenge here is he plays for a team that I hate targeting because of the way that they refuse to release information. It's Elijah Mitchell and the Niners, assuming as expected, Kyler and Hopkins are going to be out. I think it's going to be hard for Arizona to compete in this game, and they've been giving up a ton of yardage on the ground. They're now without J.J. Watt, even though they got Jones back, and we know that the Niners, when they're up, like to pound the ball on the ground.
Yeah, that's certainly something to keep an eye on, because Jermichael Hasty could be a guy that is in play for some late swap action in the afternoon. AP, flipping it back to you. This is one of the things that the chat brought up a bunch of guys, and why I said it's off the chalk, because it's basically all the other expensive guys that have no ownership. So Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, CMC expected to go, and we'll see what he does. They kind of noted snap count, but who knows? And someone in the chat even mentioned the last time they said the snap count situation, he went off and had a huge game. But all those guys that are expensive at the top that are going just completely overlooked, and not in a lot of the build constructions either, since most people have, I'll say Eckler. The chat's on you, JT, because you said Austin Eckler. So give it a like if you heard JT Hayes say Austin Eckler and laughed, because I personally did inside. But AP, what are your thoughts on these guys up here at the top?
All the linguists are out on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Of course.
First, my thought is who knows if that's the right or wrong way to pronounce his name. Have you talked to his parents? I mean, JT
Hayes probably knows his parents and got the right pronunciation.
His grandmother's in the guest room right now, so whatever.
I'm dying. What was the question, Tambo?
Expensive running backs going overlooked. We'll talk Aaron Jones, CMC, Dalvin Cook in particular, and then you can go into the other guys as well thereafter.
Yeah. So one thing I want to just note, you guys made a really good point on that I was overlooking. I mean, we are deep in the NBA streets, so it's easy to overlook some things at times. That's why we do this show. That's why we talk through the plays. But yeah, Denver defense. So, without a key piece on that defense, definitely raises my interest there in Zeke. But yeah, some of these, I don't know. Like I'm looking at these ownership projections, and I mean, like everyone just seems a little bit high, which makes me think that maybe for some reason these ownership projections are overstating some of these guys, because I just think there are so many plays too down in the mid-range. Like you can make a case for Josh Jacobs. You can make a case for Zach Moss. He's gotten a lot more target share of late. Dalvin Cook. So I think that was one of the guys that you mentioned. I don't know what I'm going to do with him. Like, he's been so injury prone. And he hasn't really been in the discussion of late, but he's a guy that always has slate breaking upside. I want to kick it back to you, Tambo. Like, what are you doing with a guy like Dalvin Cook? Because I like that game.
I was just going to say, you're leading into the right point. That's where I was going to go with it. So I appreciate that, because I think if you're playing Lamar, you want some Dalvin Cook. If Dalvin Cook breaks the slate, doesn't that make Lamar go off? Like in most situations, It would. Not necessarily. Obviously, there's a path where that doesn't happen, and somehow Minnesota just spanks them, and nothing happens with the Ravens at all. But I'm just saying, if you're going to unlock a ceiling game out of Lamar at that price at 7,300 with guys like Andrews and Brown and them, I think you need Minnesota to do something. It's already a pretty good idea to play some Minnesota guys. I know JT Hayes mentioned Jefferson earlier, but you can play some Minnesota guys and then play the stack the other way like you want with Lamar. So that's where I would play Dalvin Cook. For me, the other thing that was mentioned was with Zeke. You make a good point, JT. We did mention it slightly, the Von Miller news, him getting out of there. If I was playing Zeke, that's one thing that I don't see people do enough in tournaments that I think is a really good play, is looking at a guy and saying, I'm just not going to play Zeke because he's chalk. Well, there's two ways I would think about playing Zeke this week. And one is with a lower owned DAX stack, because you can see where he just checks it down to him and lets him do the work. We have those opportunities. And then also, I think just pairing Zeke with the Dallas D and having them just tee off on this Denver team. And that's really what would lead to that game path, where I think most people just plug him in at 7,000 and don't think anything else of their roster. AP, you brought up some other guys. I think both running backs actually in that Giants-Raiders game, Booker and Jacobs on the other side. I think they're both in play. Zach Moss, if you want to play the blowout script, he can get there early too, but that's the problem. And why I always like Josh Allen is he can just eat Moss's lunch right away, and then you don't end up seeing as much Moss as you might think, or you lose some of those valuable fantasy points down the stretch. And then going down, I actually think it gets pretty ugly. And that's why I think we'll see more people than normal this week play wide receivers, tight ends, even in the flex over on DraftKings. But JT Hayes, any other running backs you want to talk about? I guess A.J. Dillon was brought up in the chat as a guy that could steal the thunder from Aaron Jones. And maybe if you had any thoughts on those expensive guys as well at the top.
So Aaron Jones is interesting because if you believe that the Packers are going to scheme for short passing, and you have to believe that Aaron Jones is going to be involved. I think he had something like 7 or 8 catches in the game last week where they were missing Adams and the wide receivers. This week they're missing the quarterback, but Adams is back. So, and then one thing that the chat's talking about with respect to Dalvin Cook, they said, do you believe the coach speak that they vow to get him involved? Mike Zimmer wants nothing more than to be able to hand the ball off 60 times. So if he's saying he wants to get Dalvin Cook more involved, he'll run Dalvin Cook until his legs fall off. And this has been an above average matchup for opposing running backs. The thing is, if the Vikings are behind, he isn't as involved in the pass game, which is why I prefer Justin Jefferson more as my run back from that game. I also see Jefferson at 6% ownership. This is a guy who could put up 36 points. And in the right spot, if they target him the right way, and he's got one of the best matchups in terms of opposing cornerbacks, both individual and just as a backfield on the slate. And keep in mind, a couple of weeks ago, the Cincinnati stack that went off against this Baltimore team, and it was your guy, Tambo. It was Jamar Chase who got that 36, 37-point game. Same type of athlete, same type of receiver, same type of speed that I think it can break it.
LSU Offensive Rookie of the Year type guy. That's probably what we're looking at, right? So, yeah, I mean, you make a good point. I really do like that. I think that's kind of the thing. It's also, just not to go back too far, but what scares me a little bit about the Lamar side of things is we've seen these games with Minnesota and teams like Cleveland and those teams that just pound it all day long, and you're just watching the clock tick and being like, is Lamar even going to get back on this field anytime soon because of that situation? 14, 16 play drives, and that can really be a challenge for getting your quarterback all the way there on a slate. So, AP, anything else you want to talk about at running back?
I was just going to say, we talked about it last week, and it was the Bengals-Jets game. We made a comment that no one ever plays like the same running back, like two running backs in the game, like against each other. And we saw it smash Joe Mixon and then Michael Carter. And Michael Carter was actually a guy the chat mentioned last week. So shout out to the chat. I'm going to go and hit that like button for you guys. And yeah, so you could do it. I don't know what game you do it in, but I think it was the Giants game you're talking about. Some decent running backs there. But I do think, just to kind of tidy up running back, I do think Darrell Williams is going to fall. Like, you know, I don't think he's going to be played very much. And you got, you know, a potential game script there that's really nice for him. And, you know, if teams keep playing zones against, you know, they're baiting the Chiefs into running the ball. We saw them start to do it more last week. Maybe Andy Reid will realize, hey, let's take this free 5 yards they're giving us every single time. If they do that, it's going to be a heavy day or a heavy workload for Darrell Williams. And I'm showing 5 to 6% ownership on him. And he's been good. He's been really good. He has some strong games this year.
Yeah, really good pivot option too, off of Myles Gaskin, who's right there and getting a lot of love. We talked about him. I like him, but I just think, like you said, if you go to Williams in some lineups there, that'll definitely be unique. Or who other guys, Booker's there, you know, other options too. But I do like that call. It would be Booker versus Jacobs in that matchup you mentioned. I wouldn't hate that. There's definitely a possibility with Carr and Daniel Jones at the helm for those two teams that they could just lean on those guys. Hopefully Jacobs can stay healthy for a game. Geez, if this guy plays, usually he's pretty damn good, but we just have to see him get through a full game, it seems like. Let's move on to wide receiver, guys. Chat, throw some wide receivers there and hit that like button. We've got over 500 watching now. We're almost at our earliest 200 likes ever. We certainly appreciate it. Again, like we said, you guys waking up early with us here is awesome. So let's move on to wide receiver. And JT, I'm going to start with you on this one. I'm seeing right now, and we'll see again how skewed this is, but Renfro, Tony, Landry, Higgins, Cooper, and I'm not trying to name them all. There's enough of a spread. And like AP mentioned at running back, I think it is the truth this week. I think places that are projecting ownership aren't going to be as dialed in as normal because it's hard to project on a week with just so many moving pieces, injuries, personal situations, all these factors out there that have just sort of changed the slate a little bit. So what are you doing with some of the guys that I named there at the top? And then the chat's going to load us up with a bunch of other guys that we can bring up throughout. AP, I'll flip to you next.
Yeah. So the Raiders spot, like I talked about, it's been difficult, not just this season, the last couple of seasons, right? I mean, last year, I think they had Nelson Aguilar there who would go off, out of nowhere when everybody was on Renfro. I think if I was going to play, I mean, you could play Renfro because he's a slot guy and the Giants haven't been particularly good against those type of guys. We saw Tyreek Hill got 18 targets last week. It's another reason I like Tyreek Hill this week because of all those targets. But I think Bryan Edwards there is interesting as an off-the-chalk piece. But for me, I'm going to want to get Diggs into most of my lineups. I'm going to want Justin Jefferson. Someone in the chat said, oh, Marlon Humphrey is a good matchup, LOL. I think you're looking at the name Marlon Humphrey as opposed to what opposing wide receivers have done against this Baltimore defense. Marlon Humphrey was a shutdown corner 3-4 years ago. He's still pretty good, but yeah, I'm going to take Justin Jefferson in this matchup, and I'm going to take him at 6% ownership. And I think it is a very good matchup, and everything I look at says it is a good matchup. So I like him there. And then two guys, one is going to be more popular than the other. Brandon Cooks is getting almost every week double-digit targets. Now he gets Tyrod Taylor back. That should help with the efficiency there. And then on the other side, you've got Jalen Waddle, who's going to step in. He already had a pretty good bond with Tua from the Alabama days, and he's going to get potentially double-digit targets there. There's Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill as well. And then going down to one of these lower-priced punt wide receivers, it's a game that I'm not going to have a ton of plays from, but the guy that is interesting to me at a low price point is Deontay Harris for the New Orleans Saints. He's getting targets. Tre'Quan Smith is back. Does concern me a little bit, but I think that Harris is the speed guy that can get behind the Atlanta Falcons secondary, and he's just 3.9K. In, I think, the first game of the season that he played against the Redskins, he got back for a deep one, had 20 DK points. If he does that today, he allows you to fit in everything that you want.
Yeah, definitely an off-the-chalk play there, and it makes a lot of sense if you are going down. He's not a complete stone minimum punt at 3K or anything. It's like I said, he's still got some costs to him. So a lot of, that'll be a 1% owned play. It's definitely like that you've got some conviction on that one. AP, talk to me about some of the guys that we talked at the top that are the chalk, and then some guys that you're going off the board with here at wide receiver this week.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many good wide receiver plays. Chalk, I want to eat Tyreek Hill. So just looking at what the Chiefs are doing, Tyreek Hill is like the one guy who's like getting open. I don't know if like Kelsey's hurt or what's going on with him, but obviously Mahomes is just peppering Hill with targets. So it could be one of those games where he gets like 14 targets again, and you're kind of relying on yards after the catch and him to sneak in the end zone. And the other thing too is like the Chiefs are just struggling in the red zone right now. They need to go back to like some of these creative plays maybe in the red zone because they've just really been struggling, at least the last two games. So definitely have interest in Hill. Amari Cooper, just, man, they keep mispricing this guy. So not really someone I want to fade just because of that cheap price tag. And, he carries, such great upside. A little bit maybe off the chalk, which I don't get. But one reason I really like Lamar is Hollywood Brown. Just, I'm not showing, extreme ownership on him, but the targets are there. Just looking at Lamar Jackson's, pass charts. I mean, this dude is chucking it downfield, and every single time the guy he's throwing it to is Hollywood Brown. He's always getting multiple downfield opportunities, and if he can catch the ball, I know that's been kind of a struggle. he could absolutely break the slate. And that's one reason why I'm so high on Lamar. Also, I love that correlation with him and Brown. And Brown, it just feels way too cheap for a guy that's getting the amount of targets, 14, 5, 10, 5 the last few games. So hopefully it's more in the double-digit target range, which it should be if we get some back and forth action in this game. So yeah, Hollywood Brown for me, ton of interest in him. Tyreek, chalk that I'm eating up top.
Yeah, you talk to Kansas City and creativity. Usually when that's a conversation, it's Mecole Hardman, and no one wants to talk about him this week. So back to the Mahomes stacks, I think he's definitely in play as well. I'd love to be there when nobody's on it. And they'll say, of course, it's Hardman week when nobody plays them. So the interesting part for me, looking at these guys that we just mentioned at the top, is they're not really correlating with the other side. Meaning when you go to quarterback, Dak is not popular, but Amari at that price is. You go to quarterback, Josh Allen is popular, but I don't see any of Diggs, Beasley, Sanders, anybody in these wide receivers up here. So to me, it's very clear how you just go about this. And that's what I'm saying. If I'm going with Cooper, I'll have Dak. If I'm going with Josh Allen, I'll have those lower owned guys. And then just talking chalk before we move to some of the other plays we're on here, I think, you can go off on all of them. Cooper can go to Lamb or to Schultz with no Jarwin. I know that's at tight end, but we're going there soon. Tyreek can go to Hardman or Kelsey. Higgins can go to Chase or to Boyd. There's options there. Landry, I mentioned earlier, you got Higgins and DPJ. I'm not going to do the whole list, but you can very quickly see that there are plenty of other options versus these guys. So for me, the position I'm most off the chalk this week is going to be at wide receiver. And when I'm using the wide receivers that we're talking about that are carrying ownership, it's going to be with the specific setups that I just mentioned where it doesn't actually correlate when to me it should. So I'm not understanding that quite clearly. AP, going back to you real quick, any other guys down below? I'm seeing, Jerry Jeudy, Keenan Allen. You mentioned Cooks earlier, JT, but Sutton, Debo. A lot of these guys are just getting almost no ownership going down the list. Any other guys you want to talk about in some of those game environments that you were on, maybe for stacking purposes?
Well, I mean, one of the other guys, if we're going down to cheap receiver, Rashad Bateman. So I believe Sammy Watkins is still out. If not, maybe he's very doubtful. So he should slide into that number 2 wide receiver role, 4K. Mecole Hardman, 3.9. He should be a relatively popular option. And then, going to the Raiders game, I think you have to also like Hunter Renfrow. I just think he's going to be the safety valve there. I mean, there's so many good wide receiver options this week. I find myself kind of like what I want to do is get overweight at the running back position, like take some stands, because I could see myself spreading it out at the receiver position, hopefully correlating it with my quarterbacks I go with. And right now I have right around 5 quarterbacks in my player pool. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm at around 6. One the chat brought up I think is extremely interesting, and JT, I'll let you talk about whatever, but just to flip this one to you, is with Kyler, D-Hop, both very questionable. You've got guys like Christian Kirk. You've got Rondale Moore, and maybe that's it. Like, what are your thoughts there on this Arizona side of things? I know the San Fran D might be more enticing if nothing else, but talk to me about that situation, and then anyone else you want to bring up here at wide receiver before we move on.
Yeah, 3 quick points. One, that was mentioned. Someone in the chat brought up Rondale Moore. Wrote him up in the Gems article when I wrote up the San Francisco-Arizona game. Yes, he and Kirk are going to be the options. You have Edmonds and Connor. That's got a 46 total. It's got San Francisco controlling the game written all over it. And in terms of ceiling games for wide receivers, I don't think I'm going to target a Colt McCoy wide receiver. So I think I'm going to stay away from that spot this week. Not saying they couldn't have nice games, one or the other, but it's just not a place where I'm going to go. Allen E., Robbie Anderson at 1%. That's been my mindset the first 8 weeks of the season, and it hasn't worked out. Last week, he got 1 target, and we don't know what's going to happen with Darnold. If he's going to play, if not, I think you've got PJ Walker will start. You do have McCaffrey back. And I think with McCaffrey back, as much as they may have wanted to get Anderson going, I just don't know if he's shown them anything to want to continue giving him targets. He seems to drop the ball more than Odell Beckham Jr. so far this season. And then the one guy that we didn't talk about, and AP, you like that Chargers stack in that game, Mike Williams coming off 2 down games, just 7.1. He's not going to be owned at all. And we have seen tremendous ceiling from him this season. So I'm definitely going to push him in a couple of lineups on this slate as well.
No Tajay Sharp for you or Russell Gage?
Yeah, we're going to talk. We'll see. I want to see if you're still on your Falcons play that we talked about the other night. But I am. It hurts. It hurts. But I'm full fading the Atlanta Falcons today.
Go ahead, AP. Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, Mike Williams, a guy I have highlighted, and yeah, those comments are great. We've also seen these downfield receivers just have monster games against the Eagles too. I know Tyreek Hill absolutely torched them. So I think that's a really strong call there. And 7-1, that's a price tag that it's come down from where he was. I think he was like in the 8K range for a couple weeks. But he's more affordable now, monster upside. I like that call.
I also think some of these San Fran guys, one of them, I should say not some of them, but one of the either Ayuk, who was mentioned in the chat, and or Debo, I think that's where you got to go there if you're going to play somebody from that side and just play one of them and pick a side, because I think one of those guys has a big game here, regardless of how it goes down. It's just too much value and too much upside, and I don't think they both have a big game. So I'd be picking one and setting up a rule in your optimizer if you're multi-entering. But I think they can have a good game. Some of the other guys you mentioned down the board, and just go with the stacks. The Chargers guys for sure. Mike Williams still seems overpriced at 7,100, but he can have a huge game. So I don't hate that at all. Let's move it to tight end, though. We're running out of time here. And guys, we're getting very close. We're trying to hit 250 likes. We've hit 213, it looks like right now. Over 500 still watching. So we appreciate you guys. Hit the like button. Let's get there before this show ends, before the morning wood comes on after with Holden, Hoop, and of course, Big T going to stick around for that. So let's move the tight end. It seems pretty clear cut that it's going to be Albert O. I'm not pronouncing the last name, but Albert O at 2,600. Noah Fant, COVID-19 list, everything going on there with Denver, the run back for the Dak stack or the secondary stack where you can use him with Zeke. I think this will become popular. AP, I'll start with you. Let's go to tight end. We've got Albert O pushing over 20% ownership as the cheap tight end. People saw Dan Arnold work at a cheap spot last week and get just enough to do the trick and get everyone else in your lineup. So what are you doing with Albert O? And then some of the other guys are like Goddard, Gesicki, Waller, just to round it out. What are you thinking with that?
Yeah, so there's a few things about Albert O. It's one, he's cheap. Two, he's going against the Cowboys, who have been terrible against opposing tight ends on the season. And we know the Broncos love to use their tight ends. And this dude he's a big body and he's fast. So I'm fine with eating the Albert O chalk. Like we were making fun of Dan Arnold last week, at least I was, and he laughed at us, laughed right in our face. And I had him on one build, and it was my best build. So you know what? I'm okay with eating a little bit of the Albert O chalk. Then yeah, I think Kelsey has to be a guy that is very low owned, and we have a script here. Like he if these teams continue to play this kind of zone scheme, Kelsey historically has been so good at breaking these zone defenses and find those little gaps. So if you ever want a week to play like a 3 to 5% owned Kelsey, this definitely is the week, and I will definitely be doing that. But then, yeah, you got guys also, let's go back to that Cowboys-Broncos game. You have Dalton Schultz there. The Cowboys love to run these two tight end sets. Jarwin is out for this game. Schultz is going to you would think he's going to be the guy that absorbs all of the Jarwin targets. So he's a guy of interest in. And then Waller, the baller, as you mentioned, it seems like he maybe could be probably not flying under the radar, but he's kind of had we haven't seen that explosion type game, slate breaking type game from him yet this season. It seems like he always has one of them each and every season. Maybe it's this week, I don't know. I'm gonna have him in my player pool though.
Yeah, the chat's talking about Josiah DeGarwa, which is the backup to Mercedes Lewis with the Jordan Love stack. I mean, if that's the only other way I would even think about doing it, if you want to get insane, There was like a study a couple of years back I saw and read about it, said that they actually don't go to tight ends as much, backup quarterbacks coming in, but they don't lean on them as much as people think. But it could be a situation there where you get that. That would be way off the board, where you're getting off Albert O going $100 cheaper to DeGuara. That's too far off the chalk. I think that's like you hit the path, there's a cliff, and you might have just drove off it. But if you want to go that route and you're only throwing, hey, we had a Thursday night showdown winner over at RPS with a backup quarterback. So again, back for reason to sign up for RPS Heater 25 with the code, another $500K winner, single ship, unique lineup with the backup quarterback. Definitely on his own advice there, I think on that one, siege style, going with the backup quarterback. But I will say that would where I would feel like that play would be going here. There are some cheaper options though. The chat mentions Conklin. I think he's a good option. If you wanted just to get a piece of that Baltimore game, and I'm not on Lamar, I can easily see going some Marquise Brown to have just one bomb go his way and do enough at his price. And it doesn't mean Lamar fully gets there. And then have a guy like Conklin for a few hundred more than Albert that you can get that. I think Gesicki at the top, and JT, I'll flip to you in a second, but I think Gesicki is a good way to go as just a one-off. Don't do anything else in that game as a leverage play off of Myles Gaskin, where yes, Gesicki still has some ownership, but he has the targets to go with it. There's more proof that we've had from his position on what you can get out of him. Goddard, obviously at 4,500. To me, I think he's the best play of those three guys at the top. And then I like the guys down the board, JT. I'm going to give it to you, but Dalton Schultz, I don't know why people wouldn't like Dan Arnold. You loved him last week at 3,000. He does his job. He only goes up $400. It's a matchup against the Bills where they're almost assuredly to be down, and all they're going to do is chuck to him. He got like 10 targets. So I like him at 3,400. And then you like Andrews, and anytime Kelsey's cheap. So I will flip it to you with this. I don't like that guy anymore. There's too many other options. The guy you were speaking of earlier was Kyle Pitts. Man, it's pricey, the matchup, everything. I kind of leaned off it a little bit, but go ahead. Talk me in or out of it now at this point.
Yeah, I like Andrews here this week. You mentioned Darren Waller if you have the salary to pay up. And then Brittany in chat mentioned Tyler Conklin. He's $400 more than Albert O, and in a matchup against the Ravens, who've been yielding the most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. And Conklin is another guy who's involved in the offense. So Gesicki, I think, is the fourth guy that I'm interested in with Devontae Parker out. I think that it's going to be him and Waddle who get the lion's share of those targets. So that's kind of my entire player pool there at tight end. And the one thing I'll bring up, people mentioning Brandon Ayuk, he did get the 7 targets last week. Looks like he's slowly crawling out of Kyle Shanahan's doghouse. But Kittle is back, and now you've got Jeff Wilson, who was activated a couple of days ago. So all of a sudden, what was a pretty predictable route tree for San Francisco, it gets a lot more unpredictable.
Yeah, it makes it tough. Unless there's something else you want to talk about there, AP, let's move to tight end. And guys in the chat, guys and girls, if you want to throw some tight end or some defenses, up that you're going to be thinking about here, we know one that's chalk. AP mentioned it earlier, so I'll start with that. JT, say Austin Eckler again, and the chat will get us to 250 likes. How does he pronounce his last name?
So the way that I read it quickly as I was looking at it is actually the way that his ancestors from Dagestan pronounced it, and it's Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler. So
from where? Oh my God, we don't have much time, but you just kill me with this. Their grandparents, their rich parents. You've got all these guys' connections that you just know the pronunciations of their names. AP, let's go back to the script here. We got 5-10 minutes left. Let's go to this defense position because not a lot of people talk about it. And it's just one of those weeks where it feels like it at least, where this could just be the spot that breaks the slate. And it's one of those weeks where we also have one of the highest ownerships I've seen, I think, all season on defense. And that's with your Chiefs going up against Jordan Love. I talk about this all the time, but I'll let you kick it off here. The $2,300 Kansas City Chiefs versus the $4,400 backup Jordan Love, showing almost 25% plus ownership. What are you doing with the Chiefs?
All right, Chet, here's all I'm going to say. The Chiefs have disappointed me all season. Everything about it, it's just been a full disappointment. Now they're going to be chalk. Their defense is going to be chalk. When all week I pull up Twitter and Chiefs are in trouble. Chiefs are suck. Chiefs are dust. They're terrible. Now the defense is going to be the highest owned. Oh, I just don't. I don't get it. Obviously, going up against a backup quarterback, just taking the names out, if it was a different team in the same spot, they're going to be chalked too, especially at 2,300. I'm always a fan of the cheap defenses. Now you get one at home going up against a backup quarterback. It does make sense, and I will have them in my player pool. If you want to play on, like there's something to be said about a team that just struggles with turnovers, and it's like it's just like a cancer, it seems like, throughout the season. And that's the Chiefs right now. If you want to get really different, play the Packers defense. Like, these defenses going against Mahomes and the Chiefs, right? Like, they've been crushing. I will have the Packers in the Millie Maker. I'm MME in this week. I will have them in my pool, and I'm going to bump them up a little bit. And it's a way to get extremely different. They're 2,800. No one's going to play them at all. And I mean, like, we're almost guaranteed like 2 or 3 turnovers if the Chiefs continue to do what we've seen all season. So that's one way to get different. But we talk about it every week. Like, the defensive spot on DraftKings always is frustrating to me. We saw it, with Philly last week. They absolutely broke the slate. So you got to spread it around, in my opinion, or just take a stand on one spot. If that's the Chiefs this week, then I would definitely play some Darrell Williams with it, because that's going to be a way to get different. I don't think a lot of people are going to be on that correlation.
Yeah, 5 minutes left, guys. 5 likes away from the 250 we were aiming for. So let's get those. JT, I'll flip it to you. Talk about the Chiefs for a second, and then maybe some others that you're on, and then I'll take us home.
Yeah, last week it was the Washington football team that was chalk. I think they ended with 7 fantasy points. I don't know if you're going to get 7 fantasy points out of the Chiefs defense. I mean, I think the reason why they're popular is solely because there's no Aaron Rodgers. And the way I look at it, the line did go down 7 points, but it's still a healthy 48. There's still a 20-plus team total for the Packers, and they still have a ton of weapons there. There's a defense that I think is, for me, my favorite defense, and it's the New Orleans Saints. And they're not the highest priced defense, they're not the lowest priced defense, but without Calvin Ridley, this wide receiver core is tragic. And I think it's not just the Lattimore effect, but I do think that teams are going to do what the Panthers did, which is, let's take Kyle Pitts out of this equation, and then you're left with dump offs or short passes to Cordy Patterson and a bunch of guys that have a lot of trouble catching the ball. So the Saints at 3-7, and then Colt McCoy, the backup. Everyone focusing on the backup for Green Bay with all of their weapons. But then you look at Arizona, where they lose not only their quarterback potentially, but also their top receiving option. So San Francisco at 2-8 is a cheap defense that, for me, is in play as well. And I think with the struggles that Baker Mayfield has had, even if you think that game that has some points scored, I think you can look for the Bengals defense to rebound a little bit here, maybe get a pick 6, a scoop and score. So I think for under 3K, they're in play as well.
I'll name a few quick things and then flip to you guys for the off the chalk play of the week, starting with UAP in one moment. But real quick, just the point you just brought up. So the 49ers are the second highest projected owned D, but it's at more than half of the Chiefs. And I think this is the situation I talk about all the time. It's $500 more. You can definitely find it. The thing about Green Bay is they have other viable options, right? They're bringing in a backup quarterback, but they can make things easier. They have Dillon, who's good. They have Jones. They have Adams. They have guys that they can utilize there and make things a little bit easier for them. Even if they get down in the game like they probably will, there's a possibility. And that leads to less opportunities for the Chiefs D to get after Love and that squad. When you go to the other side, I don't think Arizona really has, especially if D-Hop's out. We talked about it. We were trying to make a case for guys like Rondale Moore and Christian Kirk, who's usually a downfield option. There's just nothing there. And that's where I think San Francisco could just tee off for, yes, ownership, but half the ownership or more than what the Chiefs would be here. So to me, there's just so many other options. If you want to pay up, I think the Bills, Trevor Lawrence, I know he's the number 1 overall pick, but he also throws a lot of picks, speaking of that. So I think there's opportunity to go there if you're paying up. The Saints, who you mentioned, and then some of the guys in the mid-tier. I don't hate AP's call of going opposite defense, but that's all I've got for defense this week. AP, I'm going to start with you. Who is your off-the-chalk play of the week?
Yeah, so I think he would not be 5% owned this week if Mahomes would have. I mean, this guy was wide open in the end zone, and Mahomes just missed him. And there's been a few cases where he's just been wide open and Mahomes has missed him. I think I think it's something they correct this week, and a 5% own Travis Kelce at a very reasonable 7K price tag on DraftKings. Kelce, I think he gets it right this week. I think what they do with the struggles they've had in the red zone, I think they get Kelce more involved. I think they get Mahomes looking towards him, and I think he could have a touchdown or two today against the Packers.
Yeah, cheap, an unowned Kelce in this spot is definitely a good play. JT Hayes, what do you got for your off the chalk play of the week?
Justin Jefferson at 6%. He's still priced up at 7.5, but we've seen what he can do when he gets the targets. It's been Adam Thielen the last couple of weeks. I'm going to play the flop, go right back to Justin Jefferson, and think he's going to get a big day here against the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm going to give you guys mine, and then we're getting out of here. We appreciate you all for joining us. Again, stay tuned for the Morning Wood after this, and then get in the Discord, RPS Heater 25, to sign up and get 25% off your first payment. I'll leave you with this. Mine is the whole kit and caboodle, the double Dak stack attack, whatever you want to call it. Dak, don't just play him with Cooper. Get Lamb in there. Don't worry about the ankle. Get Schultz in there. Get Zeke in there. I don't care what you got to do. Double stack Dak and find your way to the top. That's all I've got for you guys this week. Again, appreciate you hitting the like button, hit the subscribe. For JT Hayes, for AP, for producer Simon, and myself, ToeTagginTambo. Simon, get us out of here.
Are you stuck in the DFS cash bubble? Can't quite figure out how to take that leap toward profitable results? Most of us don't have the time needed to keep up on all the news and stats necessary to be a successful player at daily fantasy sports, or the patience to read complicated spreadsheets and charts needed to make informed decisions. That's why at Runpure Sports, we've simplified the lineup building process to help you create competitive teams. Our content team consists of some of the biggest names in the DFS industry, including BigT, Hoop 2410, JSURab, AP, Draft Cheat, Mangone, and much more. Our contributors dominate the leaderboards in both tournament and cash game formats. These players provide you their top plays on a given slate in an easy-to-use format. In our core plays tool, our experts provide you with the players they'll be targeting the most on a given slate. These core plays give you the foundation you need to create competitive lineups. Our playbook is an easy-to-read guide to each slate, which will also help you make informed decisions. Our new cash game chart features the top plays on a given slate provided by our cash game pros Hoop 2410 and Mangone. We've got a page dedicated exclusively to DFS single game content. It's headed up by Big T, one of the top Showdown and MVP players in the world. Ask our experts and fellow premium members directly for lineup advice in our Discord channel, where our members have benefited by winning some of the biggest cash prizes across the DFS landscape. In our premium videos and articles, our experts lay out their favorite plays and strategies for a given slate designed to guide you towards profitability.
Sell me on Aaron Rodgers. You don't need to sell me on Aaron Rodgers because I trust your opinion, but come on, sell me.
So I think this year he's going to come in. He's going to selfishly try and throw as many touchdowns as possible. I think he's going to be a guy who, at the end of the year, we're talking about as an MVP candidate.
Plus, check out our tiers, stack charts, slate plan, projections, and much more to help you make your lineup building decisions. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today at runpuresports.com to gain access at an affordable price. And for just a small added fee, you can also subscribe to our sports betting content on our bet site. Thanks for watching, and keep running pure.
Merry Christmas from the wishbone old fucks. Want to thank Big T and all the giblets and time we spent on the workbench with the ladies this past year, even though 2020 sucks. Carson Wentz sucks. Not a top 5 quarterback. Might not even have a fucking job next year. Our dicks are big, and next year we're looking for better things and more workbench time. Listen, when you're talking about the workbench, you better be fucking eating ass, licking clit all day, twice on Sunday. Let's fucking go. Ready to roll. Ready to roll. Ready to roll. And listen, Big T. Big T. keep running pure, and words sucks ass.
It's the Morning Wood. It's Holden. It's Big T. It's Hoop. What's going on? Tambo got like 7,000 likes. So if we don't get to 700 today, all of you are going to lose. That's all I'm going to tell you right now. If we don't get to 700, the mojo's horrible. There's going to be a volcano going off and you're going to burn in hell. So good morning, guys. How are you doing today? It's wonderful to see your smiling face, Hoop. Congratulations on your UFC hit. It's too bad you never win. You fucking suck at this. And what's going on?
Just got the key to the success, you know. I mean, it's just got to have rich parents. If you don't have the rich parents, you're fucked. Luckily for me, I do.
Yeah.
No, it was a great night in the UFC streets. I was watching, but not super close. Had about 20 drinks or so, so I was pretty hammered up by the end of the event. Kind of feeling rough today, but that's that's how it's supposed to be on these Sunday morning wood shows. Like, you can't come in clear-headed and bushy-tailed or whatever they say. You got to be feeling a little rough. So it's gonna be a good day.
I got the bronchitis, but I took that Mucinex stuff, so I'm feeling pretty good right now. Big T, you could just blow me all day today. Elijah Moore, you can go with Zach Moss. If he sucks, too bad. I want 5% of any hit you have over 100,000 today. How does that sound?
I mean, you have been giving some winners. I'll give you that. I've been giving you credit. I mean, you're getting too used to me giving you credit, though. We're going to have to back you back down here soon. But
all right.
The problem is you keep picking winners. So I can't back you down when you pick winners. I mean, Elijah Moore, yeah. I mean, I forget what I won with Elijah Moore, but I definitely won some cheese off of him. And I'm going to play Zach Moss for you today, too, because you just keep picking winners.
I changed my mind on him, though.
You changed your mind.
I'm just kidding. I just want to see your reaction.
Yeah,
you got more Zach Moore today.
No, I was going to play him anyways, and then I was going to make fun of you if you backed off of him.
No, I am not backing off of Zach Moss today. He should get in the box.
The chat wants to know if you're crying, though. You kind of do look like you were crying.
Dude,
did someone dump you or something yesterday?
I got
Did you lose a roster member?
No, I got the bronchitis, man. I'm not feeling good. But we're good. We're going to go win some money.
It's all that muff diving you were doing.
Yeah,
you got to take it easy on that.
You got to stay up top, man. Stay up top for a couple weeks.
Shut it off and start again. All right, I'm going to put a smile on my face. I am excited, though. It's Sunday, man. This is the best week.
Me and Big T have taken a lot of your advice, in the first 9 weeks here of NFL, and we're giving you some health advice. Stay up top. I mean, give it a break. You don't need to go down every time.
Every time.
Okay.
He said every time.
Every time, buddy. There's really no option. There's no replacing that. So yes, I will be doing that again as soon as possible. And then the other thing, I must say this, guys, this little twerp that we work with, he's like 9 years old, Mikey, right? You know, Mikey, he lives with his parents. And he was so condescending when he challenged me to a head-to-head today that I accepted his head-to-head. You guys, I can't lose to somebody living with his parents. I mean, unless it's title.
Why do you always go after Mikey?
He came after me.
Because you were roasting him. The one show you're like, who is freaking Mikey? I don't even know what he does here. You were all over the poor guy.
Yeah, I'm always on Mikey.
16 years old. I mean, come on, leave Mikey.
No, I like you.
He's like our intern. He's the RPS intern.
Yeah, but I got to beat him today, or it's going to be very, very embarrassing.
I hope he kicks your ass, Holden.
You know what? I have nothing bad to say to you, so whatever. Because
Are you guys seriously playing? I like that, though.
Yeah, we got a little head-to-head
where you settle
today.
Settle it in the streets.
Yeah, he was just being so condescending. He's like, I'm just going to play my cash lineup. I'm like, all right, I'll play a tournament lineup and hopefully it goes off. We'll see what happens this week.
I know. Speaking of that, I did enjoy. I mean, there's nothing better than MMA. Hoop crushed yesterday up top. I did pretty good. Not as good as Hoop like usual. He always does better than me. But I do have, whenever there's those multiple main events, and this that we give Title all the credit, he does great. But one little loophole he's got is his dumbass loves to start with 2 losses and play me for money. Yesterday, I called him and said, listen, Title, I love my team tonight. I'm going to kick your ass. Can we bump it a little extra? He said, yeah, let's take it up to 3K this week.
Ooh.
I said, you're seriously going to take 2 losses before the thing even starts, and you're going to play me for 3K. Didn't work out for Title. It did not work out.
Did he double stack it?
Yeah, well, that's the agreement. I'm not going to play a head-to-head unless he punts off money like that. He just starts with 2 losses. He even got freaking 80 from one of his losses and still couldn't get the job done.
She should have won, though, actually. I mean, I
thought so, too. It was.
I mean, it worked out better for me. I mean, for sure. The team I had Rose, but I think Whaley won that fight.
That's probably why. That's probably where you own me. I didn't have any Rose. The
other chick was way better. I thought she was like the lock of the slate.
What? You're the cash guy, though. Why does Holden and all these cash people are not Holden? I apologize, Holden. I didn't mean to.
Title.
I was just looking at how good you looked, and your name came out. But why does Title and these other cash people think they have to take 2 losses right out of the gate?
I'm usually the donkey that kind of follows suit with all that, and I mean, part of the reason I've done so well in the MMA is a lot of people play that in the high stakes stuff. Like they in
the tournaments too.
In the tournaments, not saying cash games, I'm saying in the actual tournaments, they double stack the main. That's why I love the cards where there's multiple main events, because most of your competition for me in the higher stakes stuff is people literally taking 2, like you said, they're taking 2 losses before the fight starts.
And I don't like agree with taking 1, but if it was 1, I could at least like understand it.
Yeah.
Like one of them, but 2, I mean, you're literally starting with 2 losses. You're not going to ship. Like, you can't ship with 2 losses.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, head to head, maybe you got 2 wins. So their answer will be, well, yeah, I got 2 wins too, for sure. Yeah. I just trust myself to at least be able to go 4-2 and match you. Because the thing is, we can punt too. Like we punted whatever the dude's name was yesterday that won. I mean, I just don't get it. I hope we play till the end of time, Title. Every single time, I'm here for you.
That strategy ran very pure last night too, because both those fights went to 5 rounds.
As pure as could be.
Yeah. So it is what it is.
We got a little bit of news here, boys, and then I'll get into the.
I love it when you give me news on this.
You're
the best.
Give it to us.
Holden is the best in the friggin' industry with this friggin' news on Sunday.
He just sits back patiently, waits for us to stop donking around.
Holden gets uncomfortable too. Look at him. If you stroke him,
no, that was
he hates being stroked.
No, that was like, come over here, get under my desk, and get on your knees. That's
you allow them to do the other way too. It's not just you.
Oh, I was actually offered to do that. And I said, I cannot concentrate when I'm doing that. So listen, guys, in all seriousness, hey, babyface assassin up there, Hoop, get these likes up, dude. Tambo was in here like on crack, and they did it. And then I'll give you some news.
Yeah, we have a lot to catch up with. I mean, Tambo and the boys early on, I mean, just crushed with the likes. I mean, got us up to about 300. I mean, you said 7, and we're shooting for the stars today. All right, it's a big day here at Runpure Sports. The team's heating up. I'd say as a whole, week 9, we're gonna meet in the winner's circle. It's got to be a bit. You said 700. I mean, it's kind of impossible right now to get to 700 because there's only like 650 watching. But we're shooting for the stars. If you're in here and you don't hit the like Holden said, I would not want to risk it. That's all I'm saying. The warning was presented at the beginning. If you're watching this show for free and you don't hit the like button, I would not want that sort of what's the word I'm looking for? I would not want that sort of negative energy, I guess, on me for week 9.
Yeah, there will be a volcano to blow you up. And melt.
And I have a free sports betting winner too that I'm going to give out to the people today that I already bet. Yeah, there's something I absolutely love. I bet it yesterday, and I just bet it again this morning.
700 for the. Will you hit me up in Discord with it, because I don't want to give it out unless we get to 700.
Yeah, and it's something I typically don't like to do. And then I'm gonna send it to you right now.
Send it to me, please, and I'm gonna go put 2 units on it. Is this a 2-unit play today?
I'm putting a lot on.
All right.
So when I give a damn winner, Holden like puts a half unit. Hoop comes in with a winner. Should I put 2 units on it? You just said, wow, that's hurtful to me.
Yeah, it should be.
Well, I mean, I don't give as many winners as Big T. That's the difference. So when I say I have something, it
don't
holds
be
a little more
defending
weight. Big T always puts the winners out there.
One day I freaking said I had like the lock of my lifetime, and he's like, "Oh, I love to hear that. Should I put a half unit?" And he was serious. Like, it hurt my feelings deeply.
Yeah, and it should. But 700 likes.
I got the double unit coming.
Right away too. He didn't even inquire. Just, should I put 5 units on it, Hoop?
I'm sending it right now, Holden. It should be coming through
like
any minute.
I said, I still regret to this day not seeing Hoop. And when football season's over, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to go out to Detroit. Oh, really? I'm already on that.
Are you? Let's go, baby. You already are?
Yeah, baby.
And it fits Big T's. It fits Big T's things too. So
it does.
We're gonna talk. I'm gonna send it to Tony too, so you know but I know Big T well enough. All right. The fact that you and I are on this and are excited about it, Big T,
I got all my stuff in, so I either like it or I don't. I've already got all my bets in.
I'm sending it to Big T right now too, and I know what's gonna happen. He's gonna laugh about it.
Okay. 700 likes and you're getting it. We get $6.99 Mount Vesuvius on your ass. Okay, let's go. We got talking points before we start with the winners. I mean, do we even want to credit Hoop anymore? 18K in MMA. He's not a he's the boss here. Big T won 18K yesterday in college football. Not worthy, man. Let's get to NASCAR. Randy watches NASCAR. $2,700. He's a subscriber. PGA. I didn't even know golf was still going on. Trenton, 5K. There's no way I'm going to pronounce this guy's name right in the NHL. Mike Natuk, 16K in the NHL?
That's the dude that won 500K in Showdown.
Oh, my God.
I just found out he lives very close to me as well. He's a friend of a friend. I didn't know that until the other day. He's like, yeah, my buddy won 500 grand on the Showdown using your website. I was like, oh, really? I said, the guy that played the backup quarterback? He goes, yeah. I said, that's impressive. He goes, yeah, so he lives right by here. So it's my buddy's, like, one of his good friends. And I said, did he play the backup quarterback intentionally? He goes, absolutely. Yeah, that was part of his game plan. And it's funny that people were, like, kind of ripping on it. And you know, it is an ongoing joke. But, man, the more I play these Showdowns, you just have to – it's happened multiple times now. It's not just, like, one time. Like, it's happened multiple times.
Dude,
I went on a tangent about it. I know people already make fun of me for being contrarian and stuff, but I really don't think it's that bad. Like, I just don't. Yeah, short term, you're probably going to lose almost every time. But I think over the course of the long term, I don't think it's as bad as people think. Because when you do bink the injury, your odds just like are infinite. Like, there's so much freaking higher.
Yeah, I played Roethlisberger one time with, like, Duck Hodges was starting. It was amazing because I literally was the only one on Ben Roethlisberger, but I don't want to do that a lot. It's a little scary. All right, 389 likes, so we're getting there. Jordan Newens, no, the edible did not kick in. I'm not edibling today. And the other thing is I did watch 21 Jump Street last night, which is funny.
I like that
movie. Great movie. Very underrated. Okay, back to the winners real quick. Slick DeRolla. Won $25,000 in NBA. Holy moly. Every night in NBA, it's somebody else. NFL. Oh, where's the winners? Well, that's the Mike Nader guy. He won $500K in Showdown. Matt S. won $30K in Showdown. Last night, MMA, Big T, $9 head-to-head versus title. You won that, correct?
So, yeah, in the chat, I see like 5 messages like, oh, you guys don't play for anything. Well, yeah, look at this Venmo right here. It says 3,000 from Zach Trivet. Or however you say his last name.
It's like taking candy
you can
from
suck
a baby.
on that, chat.
Man.
Suck on that, chat.
Now I feel bad. I feel bad for Title.
Yeah, don't
feel bad for him because he talks trash about this strategy.
Why does it say a $9 head-to-head? I don't get it.
Hold on, I can't break this down for you on the show.
Don't do it.
You're gonna get me in trouble.
There isn't a $9.
You gotta have some common sense.
Okay,
I don't have any.
Think it through.
Number.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother. I'm just too stupid. So, RPS heater 25. It's way over my head, dude.
I jacked my whole lighting up putting that phone in front of the thing. I got bright there for a minute.
RPS heater 25% off your first payment on a monthly subscription. We got NBA cores, we got NFL cores, we got winners upon winners upon winners. Big T, one more time. If you're already on the DFS side, why are you not on the bet side?
Yeah, I don't get it, man. They people just keep winning. We got a great team. It doesn't make sense to me. It's $100 for the whole site. No reason not to do it whatsoever. And the people that say, well, I can't bet in my state, like I always say, doesn't matter. If you're playing DFS, if they're on an over or an under, or the info they give, the Discord too, you're just, I mean, it's like taking it.
Stealing from a baby. All right, boys, let's get into this slate here. Big T, why don't you give me some overall general thoughts? We'll get Hoop's thoughts, and then we'll really get deep in. But what are you looking at today? What makes you feel sexy? Who makes you feel sexy on this slate?
I mean, besides doing a show with you two, I mean,
Yeah.
that makes me feel sexy.
Should.
Doing it with you two. You guys look good. So
I mean, we're in the presence of a movie star, Holden. I mean, Big T's talking us up, but I mean, he's like got camera crews.
People are gonna laugh so hard at some of this stuff we did. It's a funny thing, Holden. I mean, I'm sure you were on freaking national radio for a long time, where you just know people are gonna laugh at some stuff.
Yeah,
it's funny the stuff we did in this filming that DraftKings is putting out. Like, you just know for a fact the stuff we did, you're going to get laughed at and made fun of. And it still just makes it fun because the stuff we did is fun. And it's funny to watch people like say that, like, there's all these people coming after us, like, oh, not any ladies in that video. It's like, yeah, I mean, what do you want? First of all, my lady was there and I did get the job done there, just to throw it out there. But we're all three married anyways. What are you guys trying to say?
All you guys. Awesomo's married?
Yeah, both those guys are married. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Yeah. So
they try to be like so cool though. Like, oh, there's no ladies in there. Like, okay, well,
of course there's.
You didn't see the deck the night before, buddy.
Yeah. Well, there you go. And listen, I'll just say this. After big news hit, or people would be talking, the exes, the drawers would be soaked. So I'm thinking your wife the same way after she watched your video. She was probably like, Big T, do me al fresco again.
But back to the slate before we get too
all right, let's do it. Okay, so Big T.
I tried to get a little simpler the last couple of weeks, and I've actually had a good couple of weeks for once after a slow start to the season. But I'm just tired of trying to make crazy stuff happen at quarterback. I said it a few weeks ago. Last week I just played – I can't even remember who I played. Oh, my boy Wentz. Yeah, Wentz came through. Wentz and who were they playing against last week? I just played Wentz last week. Yeah,
the Lions.
I just played Wentz basically for the most part. But this week, I think it's easy too. With some of these guys at the top, I don't think you have to go crazy. And there's not really that many spend ups this week either, where yeah, some people are going to go down at quarterback, and I just don't really understand it. When you can play guys like Lamar, Mahomes, some of these guys at the top, I mean, you can call it boring, you can call whatever. I'm just done getting creative at that position. I'll beat people at other spots, and I'm just going to take that safety. Even in college yesterday, it did good for me. Stack the high totals, play those quarterbacks, don't get too creative, and print money. And I don't know. I'll get creative in other spots. Don't get me wrong. I'm not just going to jam all the optimizer stuff. But at quarterback, I'm done with it. I'm just going to play Lamar, Mahomes, some of these top guys that you're not going to see Jordan Love on my freaking team. So I'll tell you that much.
No Jordan Love.
The price is nice, but you just don't need it. Like, if he gets you like 15, I can get 30 from these other guys, Josh Allen, and these top guys, where I don't need it. I'd rather play a cheap guy somewhere else.
Hoop, give me a little rundown here, and then I forgot to give the news, so let me go give some news too. But what do you got as a broad brush on today's slate?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of I don't know if the balanced is the right word, but like there's just not spend ups like Tony said. I mean, the best running backs aren't super expensive where you can't get to them. I mean, they're all, you go to DraftKings, the most expensive running back is 8.2K in Kamara. We don't have a 10K guy. You go to wide receiver, the most expensive wide receiver I'd want to play is probably Tyreek. He's 7.9K. So earlier in the week, I was looking at guys like Jordan Love and Tyrod and plays like that. And like if I'm playing a guy like that, I mean, Tony can add on to this. I want multiple upgrades. If I'm going to go cheap at quarterback, I want 2 or 3 big time upgrades. But the way the slate kind of sets up, like you're only getting like 1 upgrade, and is that worth it? Probably not. Where you're playing a quarterback where you're hoping they get you 12 to 15. Probably not enough on the slate. So I agree with Tony in regards to that. And I mean, those cheap guys, I think, are going to have pretty solid ownership this week. I mean, people are going to play Love. People are going to play Tyrod. People will play Tua. There are a lot of cheap quarterbacks in play. So, maybe just going up to the top and avoiding that area. You can get some nice leverage. Other positions are just great plays across the board. I think at so many good running back plays, so many good wide receiver plays this week. I'm looking forward to kind of, talking through it all with you guys.
You want my super deep sleeper? How about this? I'll give a super deep sleeper. Hoop already has his bet out there, but we gotta get up there, guys. We gotta get to 700 likes.
Yeah, if we get, I'll say this: if we get the 500 spot, I'll once we get to 500, I'll give the play.
No,
but then there's going to be more though. There's going to be more stuff after.
Okay.
Once we get
okay.
To,
yeah, I did some real digging on a game this week, and it's a gross play, but I think I'm going to hit it.
I love gross plays, for the record. How many likes do we need? Those are my favorite plays. So
7.
I can't wait for that.
7.
That'll go with our chalky, our high price quarterbacks. We just need a gross play to go with it. Like that.
Yeah, well, there I got a gross play for you. Very gross.
I can't wait.
And if he scores, it's just like it's all going to be amazing. So we're at 423, 427. Get us to 7. You get Hoops pick at 5. Big T, I don't know what value are you bringing today? Can you
what are you doing here?
I'm just soaking off you guys. What do you mean? I'm bringing the good mojo.
Why is he even here, Ryan? Really?
Yeah. I mean,
just like, come on.
This is what I do best. I bring the good mojo, go on your guys' coattails.
Yeah. Alex, I'm going to kick you out of the chat if you bring up Robbie Anderson, dude.
If you really wanted to, we're just ignoring that. We're not going down the route. But Big T, if you really wanted the good mojo, you would have followed through and came over to Hoops for a sleepover. Like it was in the works. I mean, I was ready to roll. I had the basement set up for your favorite spot.
Pick a loser. I got knocked out. I picked a loser. Yeah. There was nothing to come for.
Yeah, it was sad.
Besides company. I didn't know we were having an MMA watch party, or I would have came.
Yeah, it would have been even more winners. But next time.
Okay. 800 watching, 457. You get to 5, you get Hoops play. You get to 7, you get my disgusting play. And that'll be that. Okay. So let's get into this. Murray and Hopkins, if you were playing any of that 4:00 game, not looking good according to Ian Rappaport. So they traveled. But
actually, you know what? Now that I think about that, I have 2 bets that I'm going to give one at 5, and I just bet another thing this morning that I love, and I'm going to give that away too. I mean, 2 things I just love on the betting side today. One of them is a long-term play. One's for today.
Okay.
So just wanted to throw that out there because you reminded me of another play. I mean, we've talked no fantasy football basically yet, and we're like 30 in, but it's all right. We're gonna get winners
we're
today.
15 minutes in. It feels like 30 minutes, but we're only like 15 minutes in, dude.
We're definitely way over 15 minutes.
Okay,
in.
20.
Well, I think the one thing I will say though, I think the winner portion of the show is just simple. I have a feeling me and Big T are going to be on some of the similar things today.
Okay, let's do it. So Murray and Hopkins not looking good right now. Adjust whatever the hell you want to do with that. I mean, if Murray's not in there, I'm not touching any of those receivers. And then James Robinson, it's not looking good there. And I know some people are on the Bills. Maybe he's on the show today. And that's like the playmaker on that team. So no James Robinson. I don't know. I mean, that's another reason why I'm on the flip side with Moss today. But all right, boys, let's get into this here. Big T, quarterback. How many quarterbacks are you considering this week? How many in the pool?
Are we not going game by game? What are we doing?
Do we usually go game by game?
I think so.
All right, fuck it.
You
Let's
caught
go
me
game
off
by
guard
game.
saying quarterbacks. I was ready for a game.
We can go positions.
What do we usually do?
What do we want to do? We usually do game.
All right, let's do games then.
Game's just easier to like talk about stuff. Like positions, I feel like you get to like receiver and like I don't even know what to say. There's like 40 of them.
All right, let's do it. Buffalo, Jacksonville. Let's do it. You got any Josh Allen today? You got Zach Moss, obviously. Who's the wide receiver from Buffalo? Do you consider anything from Jacksonville, Big T?
Yeah, I'm definitely not playing anything from Jacksonville, which means I'm not playing Josh Allen just because I like the run backs. I mean, you can play him for sure, not saying not to. He's got a high floor. I'm going to go with Holden's leverage, though, and play some Zach Moss. I'm also going to play Diggs. I think Diggs, one of these weeks, is going to totally explode. Could happen this week. I think he's a great play today. And that's kind of where my exposure is coming from this game. I mean, you can still go to Dan Arnold, who looked good last week, but got a ton of scrub time to get those numbers. I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying to get smarter with my plays where I don't just play tons of people and guys. I don't want to play Jacksonville's offense, which is, if I play Josh Allen, I would definitely play guys like Arnold and Marvin Jones. I don't want to do that, though. So I'm just going to play Diggs, Zach Moss. I'm even okay with like Manny Sanders, Beasley. Just don't play more than two. Like, I think you can play Diggs and Moss, Diggs, Manny, even if you don't play Josh Allen, because we can get it from one of our other guys too. But no Jacksonville for me. Pretty easy game. I mean, I guess if you were playing Josh Allen, even guys like Jamal Agnew's looked decent only in Josh Allen teams and tournaments. Not as like one-offs, but in that case, I'm easy though. Diggs and Moss for me.
Hoopage, what do you got here?
Not a ton. Diggs for sure. I mean, I'm going to play Diggs every week. Really good price on FanDuel, like 7.6K, I think is a steal price tag. And yeah, I agree. Like with Big T, he's going to have a massive game at some point. Allen's been spreading it around a little bit more this year, but who's came in questionable? Beasley was questionable, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe he's a little dinged up and doesn't get his full run out there, which would be a boost for Diggs. So
he was last week.
Yeah, okay.
He was dinged up last week, and there was no who the hell is it? The tight end? Why is it?
And then the tight end's out. Knox.
The hell's his name? Why can I not think of it? Dawson Knox.
Sorry about that. Dawson Knox out, obviously. So I really like Diggs in the spot. Will be pretty popular on FanDuel, not so much on DK. On the Jaguars side, I mean, Arnold worked out for us nicely last week. I think he's okay. I mean, it's going to be the same thing. I mean, he got it in garbage time last week. He can do it again this week. They're likely to be playing from behind. So don't hate him as a cheap tight end, but that would probably be it on the Jaguar side. Just really Diggs and maybe a little Arnold.
No, I'm not smoking the devil's lettuce. I'm not eating edibles. Just a little bronchitis, guys. Got me off today. We'll be okay, though. We'll be okay. 486 on the likes. You get us 14 more hoops given out as best bet. You get us 100. You get us the 600. You get another hoop bet. You get us the 700. I'm going to give you my deep sleeper. Super deep sleeper. Super duper deep. You might want to roll them out there. Things have been going pretty well lately as far as advice. Let's get to our next game. Hoop, why don't you start with this one? New England, Carolina. We just, you know what? Even if you're not playing anybody from this game, do you have any Christian McCaffrey at all?
I'm not MMEing. I'm not playing 150. I mean, if you were doing that today, maybe, but I think there's a lot of running backs I like today, so I don't feel like obligated to do it. I'm not worried. I mean, I think he comes out and gets most of his workload. I mean, the problem I have, the matchup is not great here. It's a low total, 41.5. The Patriots been playing solid. Panthers have not. This game is, this game's a fade for me. I'll say, I'm making like 3 to 6 teams in that range. I won't have anyone in this game.
Okay. How about you, Big T?
Yeah, I mean, when I looked at the stuff, I was hoping McCaffrey would be priced to where we could play him. He's just not. I mean, he's 10K on FanDuel, 8K on DK. I mean, I wouldn't be scared to play him. Like, I think if they roll him out, he's definitely going to get workload. I'm not even worried about like the snap count thing they were saying. He could crush, but it's just the price point, man. Like, he's not cheap. Like, you need him to get like 30 at what his price is. And I don't really see that happening. So he is going to be super low owned. I'm not going to go there though. I agree with Hoop. Low total. The only guys in my player pool at all, even for 150, are
Jacoby.
I need to put him in there. I can't quit Jacoby. He's so bad too. Oh, God, he's bad. But no, DJ Moore and I mean, I guess from New England. I mean, the only guy I would even consider is Jacoby.
Ooh, okay. So see, we could talk for a whole long time because we were not going to spend a lot of time. in
Yeah,
that
I
game.
mean, well, me and Hoop are always pretty condensed
Yeah.
in football. We don't
Yeah.
really go super. I think we probably play less. I mean, in everything we play less people than most, but definitely in football, a lot of people like spread out a ton. I know I don't, and I don't think Hoop does either.
No.
Biggest lesson I've learned from you guys, in all seriousness, just stick to your pool. Listen, if it doesn't go off, there's next week. If it goes
And
off,
you don't have to be worried about hitting every play, right?
Correct.
Like it's okay for someone to go off and you not have them. And you don't have to give the speech either like, oh man, I had him and then I switched to him and this guy was there and I would have played him. Just be okay with it. Like you can't play everyone. When you actually condense your player pool and they go off, like last week, I was basically all in on the two receivers in the Colts game, Pittman and I keep forgetting who they freaking played, but AJ Brown. So when you're condensed in there, you just print money, and that's what people don't see that side of it. You can't play everyone. The funniest people to me are the ones that play like 8 teams, 5 teams, and they'll just play like 5 different stacks. Like 5 quarterbacks with 5. Like, yeah, that's terrible. That's the worst way to do it to me. I'd rather play 1 and go all in on 5 or 5 go all in on 1.
I think most people, like literally one of their biggest fears on Sunday is sitting down, watching Red Zone and seeing a touchdown and them not
missing a single
exposure.
touchdown.
Yes, not having exposure to that touchdown. So they just spread it out so much. And I mean, it's it's something we always talk about and something we've done at RPS. We just simplify the process. All our people make it simple, and I don't know, it's obviously worked. So you can't fear what is it, FOMO, fear of missing out, or whatever that people say. I mean, I really think people have that going into Sundays.
And don't get me wrong, there's times where like for everyone you'll be down to like a clutch decision and you choose wrong. That's different than just saying you're playing everyone, because you always have like your main team or something, and maybe you just choose wrong between whatever the case is, two equal guys. Yeah, that's different. Like those ones hurt, but not just playing everyone is just literally the worst way you can play DFS.
Oh, again, I mean, that's the biggest thing I learned from you guys. Don't play, 16 quarterbacks with all this stuff. You end up saving money. You say in the long run, probably end up saving money. So there's 18 weeks of football. I'm now mostly GPP. I do play a little bit of cash, but by the time it's all said and done, if you can go off, 3-4 weeks out of those 18, you just got to stay patient. This is my first full season, just about full GPP in NFL. It gets frustrating, but you got to stick with it because it's coming. Okay,
we've reached the first break here in the show. We're at 500. Do we want the long term, like season long bet, or do we want the bet for?
I want the long term. I want the long term bet.
Just the long term futures. You want the futures?
I want the future bet, and then at 600, let's get your today's bet, and then at 700, I don't know if we're gonna get there, but I'll give you my my stinky play of the day.
My futures bet is going to be the Rams to win the division. It's even money right now.
What?
What?
It's even money? Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah. So the Rams to win the division. The Cardinals are still the favorites there. They're -120. The Rams are even money, +100. Cardinals are going to be without Murray and Hopkins today. They're underdogs, so we could flip that. And I think by tomorrow, the Rams are probably -130, 140 to win the division. So I think we're getting on the Rams right now. It's a pick. It's +100. So you double up whatever you bet. Rams to win the division is the futures bet. I love it.
Okay, I just hit it.
Yeah,
wonderful. Oh my! I cannannot believe this, Hoop. This is a great call, dude.
I was trying to figure that out. I was searching around, playing around with some stuff yesterday, and I think, really like that bet. I'm curious to get Big T's thoughts on that. He's a professional in these
to win the Super Bowl
gambling streets.
I mean,
Who always thinks I make fun of his plays, but he should know by this point I'm always just honest, and I think that's a great play. I think that is one of the best plays I've ever seen Hoop say as far as gambling. I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. So now they give Von Miller.
Me too.
I don't like Arizona either. So that's kind of a given. So you got my favorite team or one of my favorites versus one of my least favorite, most overrated. So of course I'm with you on this one. I love that play.
Things are shaping up nicely here. Yeah, I mean, it just to me is a number that's too good to be true. But like
just because they beat them a couple weeks ago, like anything can happen week to week.
Yeah, and I bet them to win the conference and Super Bowl too. I think they're the best team in football after I've kind of sat back and looked at everything. So big on the Rams moving forward for sure.
Me too. Stafford better not go down because I got a Super Bowl and now I got.
Don't even say that. Why would you even say that? Don't even say that.
Anytime we say go down, I get excited. All right, guys.
We're talking about our long-term Rams investment. You're talking about the quarterback getting injured.
Right after we had all the mojo flowing. You come in with that.
Did you guys relax?
He's gonna break his thumb tonight or something now.
Oh no, Hoop!
That's wrong. I'm gonna literally think about this all day now.
That's your fault, Hoop.
Showdown tonight too. The backup quarterback's gonna ship again.
God, I can see it now.
All right, cool.
See it now.
That's great. Anyways, guys, RPS Heater 25% off your first payment of a monthly installment plan. I already read off all the winners. UFC winners, NFL winners, NBA winners, golf winners, just winners all over the place. If you like to win, sign up. Where are we as far as the likes? We're at 527. We need to get to 600. And then Hoop's going to give out his bet of the day. I personally think that his bet today is as good as the Rams bet. That's how good I think that bet is that Hoop put in there because I'm already on it. So I'm pretty excited about it too. All right, let's get to our next game. Tony, Houston, Miami. And I'll say this, my play is from this game and it's not a Dolphin. All right. So it's a disgusting play of the day, but what do you got here today?
Is it K Falix? Boy, I'm curious now.
Who's
we got to do it.
boy?
At 530 likes, you got to give your most disgusting play.
No, 700. 700,
I'm
dude.
Curious though.
Who is K Falix? Who's K Falix guy?
I mean, I'm sure it's the dude you're talking about just from looking at it. Nico Collins?
No, Nico. You son of a bitch.
It is him, isn't it?
God damn it. Now we're not getting the 700. I love me some Nico Collins today. K Falix likes Nico?
You couldn't even keep a straight face.
I know. Nico the Freako. Come on, man.
You denied it, and then you caved within like 3 seconds.
Well, I mean, I can't lie. I'm not a liar. My problem is I can't lie. Like that's my like
I put
that
you on the
liar
spot
movie
too. So you were like, should I lie and go with it, or should I just smile?
I couldn't. You Nico. It must not be a good play then because everybody's on it.
Nobody's on it. What are you talking about? I said K Falix on it. It was his contrarian play. Now you.
All right. What do you got from this game? What do you
guys
got?
Both on it though? I mean, I can be convinced. I wasn't going to play him, but. Yeah. I keep saying this. I keep stroking Holden's ego, but anytime he says something in NFL, I'm playing him from now on because he literally, you haven't missed all season. What are we, week 9? You haven't missed besides that Stafford blunder you just said. That was awful. But
what happened with when was that?
You threw out the random I hope he doesn't blah blah blah. That was.
And nothing is even settled.
Earmuffs. Next time you're going to spew something like that, just give us the sign to.
Why don't we just get Ouija boards, boys, and do some witchcraft? You and your bullshit, this garb. Oh, you said his name. Now he's going to break his hand. Big T, who do you like from this game?
I like Nico Collins, baby. Woo! But, I mean, this is the game that everyone's kind of like, oh, this is the sneaky game. And what they don't realize, this is kind of where I think people get too cute. Like, it's Miami and freaking Houston.
Yeah.
Could it go off? Sure. I mean, it's two bad teams. But do I want to freaking play Tua and Tyrod Taylor instead of Lamar or Mahomes, Josh Allen? Yeah, people are like, the price is cheaper. It's what I don't need those top guys this week. Even the top like running backs, Kamara. I don't need Kamara. I'm fine with him. I'll play him. I don't need him though. Like it's not some of these weeks where like I need Devontae doesn't have his quarterback, Tyreek Hill. I mean, I don't need these guys. Yeah, I'll play them, but I'd rather have a quarterback, not play dust buckets like Tua and Tyrod Taylor. Yeah. Get those dudes out of there. But as far as the plays, I mean, I think you're better off I don't understand Myles Gaskin as I'm looking like this dude's actually going to be popular. And I can't even comprehend it like at all. I don't see it at all. I can't comprehend it at all. I'm not going to be on it at all. I just don't get it. Just because he's playing Houston, he's got one good game all season and he plays for a terrible team. And now all of a sudden he's going to be in the 20s percent-wise. Like I don't see it at all. Cooks, we talk about Cooks every week. Yeah, get me off this freaking game. I'm fading this whole game because this is like the game where everyone's starting to like. Everyone
off of
loves
Nico
these
Collins.
pieces. The only guy I'm playing is Nico Collins.
No, I'm not
baby.
even playing him anymore.
No.
Some guy in the chat said fantasy sports radio's on him. If those guys are on him, I'm out of here. I'm off of Nico.
No.
You know what? I'll bet
You
Nico
can't take
Collins.
it back.
I'll
Don't be an
bet
Indian
Nico Collins to
giver.
score a touchdown. That's it. I'm done with it. If more than me is on Nico or K Fallick, come on, guys. That's disgusting. Absolutely. Also,
I gave my speech the other day too. I just to polish this up.
Yeah.
Because I'm on it. I gave my speech about Pat Beverly being the worst play of all time as chalk. I'm giving the same speech about Myles Gaskin. Awful, horrendous chalk play. Give me Myles Gaskin when he's unowned, not when he's freaking 25% owned.
What do you got on Myles Gaskin, Hoop? Is he cash?
I like him a little bit on FanDuel. I don't know. I mean, the FanDuel price tag is 6.1K, and
I don't care what it is. He's going to get like 9 fantasy points.
Yeah, I might take that actually.
You would take 9 fantasy points?
No, but he's 6.1, and okay, I get he's had a rough season, and I have not played many Dolphins.
There's no way he's coming through for you today. I'm giving my stamp of approval.
Oh, that's bad
no
mojo.
chance.
I mean, that's rooting against your boy, and that's
not when
hurtful.
I call it. I'm allowed to. If I call it, I'm allowed to root. That's the mojo rule.
Well, here's the thing: you talked about the games, and they haven't had a game script that this one potentially presents all season long. I mean, the Dolphins freaking suck. They get a home matchup now with the Texans, where they're basically a touchdown favorite. I think there is some merit to Gaskin, but overall, though, I got the same mindset. Like, I don't want to play guys from shitty teams. Like we have, I think there's like 12 really good wide receiver plays. We're going to talk about Nico Collins. Like, I'm glad you guys came full circle on that one. We don't need to be on Nico Collins.
No, we don't need to do
plays.
it now.
Don't need the value really that much this week, so I'm not seeing it. I'm not playing anyone on the Texans side. On the Dolphins side, just Gaskin on FanDuel where he's 6.1K. If he finds the box, you're free roll at 6.1K. And I think he's pretty close to a favorite to score. So sign me up for Gaskin on FanDuel only at 6.1K. Nothing else in this game, though. I want to avoid guys on these shitty teams. I mean, to me, these are two of the worst teams in football.
Everyone's on Nico across the effect. Yeah, fuck it. He's done. I don't need 700 likes. 600 likes is fine. Get Hoop to play. Fuck Nico Collins. Not doing it. Okay. Just
and Tony, we got our boy, Little T is, hitting me up. He wants you to shout him out a little bit. Todd Jr. He wants Big T to say his name.
Yeah, I mean, Todd is the man. He was supposed to recruit us a new employee. We had to do it on our own, but that's because he's too busy out there getting the job done himself.
Hold him with love, Little T.
Yeah, they'd hang out for sure.
How old's Little T?
Little T is like 31, I believe, 31.
He could be my wingman. Is he a good-looking guy?
That's a very good-looking guy. He does very well in that department. Good. He's into the Instagram girl, so he's got the Instagram setup.
Me too.
There you go. You guys could collaborate on some good things.
Me too.
Could collaborate
I'm
on
10
some
years
very
late
good things.
on the slide into DMs, but it's never too late, I suppose. All right, guys, 600 for Hoop, 600 likes. You guys are 44 away. We're sitting here in the middle. You guys are close. Let's get Hoop's bet here. Come on, people. It's going to be a good time. Hoop, I'm going to go back to you on the next one, and that would be New Orleans and Atlanta. Here's another game. You know what? Let's start with Kamara. What are you doing today? Any Kamara and GPPs?
Yeah, I'm glad that Semion's starting. I mean, obviously, if Taysom was in there, Big T's boy, it would be a little more worrisome for Kamara. I do think Taysom does have a role, which is somewhat concerning. But the fact that Semion's starting, Kamara, I think, is a phenomenal play. And another team here, they're favored by 7, touchdown favorite. Should have a big workload on the Falcons side. Well, I mean, just what a shitty, dusty team. Like last week, no Ridley. You figure some of these other guys would step up big games. Just disaster all around. The only guy I'd consider on the Falcons side is Cordero Patterson on DraftKings. So it's just basically, I'll keep it simple. It's Cordero on DraftKings, Kamara, I think, on both sites. And that is going to be it for me.
All right. What do you got here, Big T? You want any Kamara?
I'm definitely worried about Kamara, especially knowing that everyone's kind of on him in that top range. So no one's talking about it, but Mark Ingram back there, he's going to vulture. Kind of the speech I gave about Jordan Howard. So now you get to the goal line, you got not only Taysom back, but now Ingram too. You got a lot of vulturing going to happen out there. I'm not saying I'm fading Kamara because I will play some. I'm just worried about him. I'll say that. If I land on him, I'm okay. And like I said, I don't love any studs on this slate. I'm not like super into it anywhere. So I will play some, but I'm worried. And Ingram, I just could see him vulturing just to get him comfortable back in the offense. This is his first game back, right?
Who's
I think
that?
so. It's his first game, right, Holden?
Yeah, first game.
Yeah, so I could see them trying to get him comfortable again, giving him like two touchdowns inside the 10 and just tilting everyone that has Kamara. And I don't know. I'm worried about it for sure. So a little bit less on there. I am going to play some Deontay Harris, though. I feel good about him. He's been getting more and more work, 7 targets last week. And he's just one of those guys that's got the deep ball ability against a team like Atlanta. So other people might play Traquan, Marquez Callaway. Deontay Harris is my guy in this game. But, yeah, I'll have some Kamara. Definitely a little worried. They said he did play last week.
Who, Ingram?
I thought it was his first week. But he had so last week he had 6 carries, 27 yards, 2 catches for 25. It's kind of my point. I mean, Ingram had 7 fantasy points last week and no touchdowns. So I could see Ingram getting 2 touchdowns this week. Kind of like my Jordan Howard call last week.
Ooh. 2 touchdowns this week. Okay.
2 vultures, though, not like 2.
No good ones.
I mean, not like some 40-yard touchdown or something. I'm talking like a 5-yard touchdown and a 1-yard touchdown.
No, I love that Harris call, though. Boy, is that a good one, because that's who Simeon looked at last week, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was just
looking
at
the deep ball. Like, he's always got that 80-yard touchdown upside. There's not many guys like that he could get 1 target the whole game and get there for you.
Yeah, there's no question. I like it. Where are we likewise, guys? Oh, we're getting closer. 28 more likes till Hoop gives us play of the day out. Betting wise, of course. We got a good question. We'll get to that Cowboys game here in just a minute, guys. There is a player that was just brought up that I kind of am interested in. Oh, we're here. We're at it. Denver and Dallas, Big T. I mean, who I like a little bit today is Cortland Sutton, even with Judy back. I know Tambo's on Judy. That's an interesting call. But why don't you start with the Dallas side? Because everyone's on Cooper. I know he's questionable, but so is CeeDee Lamb. Like, why is it Cooper over Lamb this week? And Ezekiel Elliott's probably gonna be popular. Can you deep dive with Tony Pollard? What do you got here?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the higher total games, and you got a lot of pieces in this game. It's just tough for me with the Broncos. Like, I've faded Broncos games all season. Never regretted it once. They've all been super slow. They've all busted. Dallas is like better than people think too. I could see this game just being handled easily. Like Dallas just winning 34-10 or something. Denver's trading away their pieces. They're quitting on the coach. I don't know. Do I really want to play? It goes back to my point starting the show. Do I really want to play? Don't get me wrong. Like Sutton, Judy, I'm okay with them as fillers. I just don't want too much from this spot, especially not Coop. Like Coop is a guy, when he's chalky in this spot, like I don't play Cooper in this spot. I don't really like Coop anyways. I'd rather play extra 50. This is where tournament versus cash comes in. There's not often me and Hoop will disagree, and I guarantee this will be one. He'll always play Cooper over CD when they're 1,500 difference. I always like CD more, or whoever it is, Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. I'll always like Mike Williams when he's more expensive. Hoop will always like Keenan Allen when he's cheaper. It's just how it works. I guarantee he likes Coop, and I guarantee I like CD more. So it's just tournament versus safety type thing. Cooper's 5,700. Everyone's gonna like him. I'm not gonna play him though in this spot. I'd rather play Zeke, CD. I mean, even Pollard. Pollard 4,700. Maybe he gets a little bit of work in this game, a little bit of extra work versus Denver. Albert O is going to be the chalk tight end after Arnold did it last week. Now we get Albert O on underpriced at 2,600 or what? How much is he on FanDuel? 45.
26. Yeah.
49.
45 on
Is he 45
FanDuel. So you can definitely play him. I mean, we talk about these 2,500 tight ends every year. they just can't hurt you that much. Yeah, he's popular, and that's fine. Sure, if he busts and you get off him, like there's a bunch of guys in that range, but still, he's not going to hurt your overall roster all that much. Like if he gets you 3 or something, that's not ending your day at 2,600. It's just not. But when he gets you like 15, like Arnold did last week, you are just minted, just freaking minted because of that. You can't play guys that cheap. Even defenses are barely that cheap. So, I mean, this game's okay, but again, I'm not going to play Dak. I'm not going to play the quarterbacks. I'm just going to just pieces, maybe one piece from each team max, and just let them kind of fill in the gaps.
All right, Hoop, let's get into this here because last week it was Dan Arnold. Now we're going to Albert. So Albert Ukuwe-Bunam. That's how you say it. So just call him Alberto, okay? I kind of feel like there might be a piece from Denver here. I'm not sure, but you got any Cowboys?
I'm not. Yeah, the Cowboys. I agree with like the potential game script here. I think the Cowboys are better than people think, and you get a home matchup here. They're getting their quarterback back in action against a team that's making big trades. The team kind of quitting essentially. I think this could be a big spot for the Cowboys to put up a lot of points. Really like Zeke here. I think Zeke is a phenomenal play for those reasons. Obviously, Dak's a little dinged up. He's not going to be aggressive on his feet here. So really like Zeke. And yeah, I mean, Amari Cooper at 5'7", it's just a price point play. It's just too cheap. He's going to be obviously in my player pool. But yeah, that's going to mean CD Lamb comes in very low owned. I mean, people are going to say, all right, I'm going to play a Cowboys wide receiver today. Who's it going to be? Amari Cooper, CD Lamb, similar upsides in terms of fantasy points. Oh, wait, I can save $1,500 and play Amari Cooper. Sure, I'll just do that instead of going up to Lamb. So I don't hate Lamb in tournaments. I think that makes a lot of sense with what Big T was saying. On the Broncos, I just have not played Broncos much this season, and I just don't know why I would want to start doing that now. Projected to score 20 points, big underdogs. Yeah, I mean, in some run backs, if you're making 150 teams and you're going to do some Dak and Lamb and Cooper stacks, like sure, Sutton, Judy, you can play them. I would not be going way overweight on them. I wouldn't make these guys staples of my lineups. And then Albert O, yeah, I mean, 2.6K, yeah, sure. You play a guy like Alberto not for the fantasy points, it's what he can do for the rest of your lineup. I mean, he's basically 2.6K. I mean, that's such a small percentage of your overall salary. If he goes out there and busts, like Tony said, you're not dead. If he goes out there like last week with Arnold, had a great game, like you kind of needed him, especially in cash games, because you're able to get up to some of these other bigger name guys, higher salary guys. So Alberto is a fine option at 2.6K. Love Zeke. Cooper's too cheap. It's my overall thoughts here.
Hoop, we hit a 601 likes.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess I guess that means I got to give the winner for today, right?
Love it.
And so the winner for today, it's something I bet yesterday. Okay. I was going through everything and I bet this yesterday, and then I rebet it this morning. And then our boy on Twitter, Wilson, tweeted the exact same play. And when Wilson's on something, it always piques my interest. I bet this yesterday, bet it this morning again, and then saw Wilson tweeted this out. It's a 2-team teaser, and I know Big T's into these. I think this fits into the long category. I'm not sure. You can verify it, but
it's not
2-team teaser, the Chiefs and the Rams. So you tease both of them down to basically -1. So you need the Chiefs to win, essentially. You need the Rams to win. I think it's a great bet.
You want to hear something even better? The best NFL bettor I know is the Sports Keg on our bet side. He is also on this bet.
Yeah,
so we're either all winning, chicken dinner, steak dinner, or we're all losing. But I think it's a winner, man. I love that. Absolutely love that bet. Absolutely love it. So
I want to see if I can get the double Big T stamp of approval. I mean, if I can get the stamp of approval on this, I might be all in by the time this show's over on Rams winning the division and this 2-team teaser. If Big T says it's okay and good to go.
The 7-point favorites are ones I never tease because it's on.
Oh, get out of here!
I got him at 7.5.
I think it's the biggest fish teaser there is.
Oh,
just like. You're wasting 2 points is the problem. That's what makes those teasers profitable. From the 3 to the 1, you're wasting 2 points. So it's basically a 4-point teaser.
Hoop, we went from 7.5 on down to 1.5 on both. You know what, Hoop? Don't
in that
don't
book
cover your
though.
face.
In that book, because there's a whole book about
You're
these
fine.
teasers. Probably the only book I've ever freaking read in my life. It just says just parlay it, just money line parlay it. You don't need to tease it. Then you just get them straight up, and you're getting the same odds.
Well, it's the same thing. I mean, basically, it's the same play, right?
Same thing till one falls one, and you don't win.
I see what you're saying.
Hoop, it's good
Yeah,
bet.
you win if they win.
It was going well for a while, but I still
Hoop,
love
don't
that play.
back down from Big T.
I'm still. I mean, I'm heavily invested in that.
Good
play.
bet, man.
The thing I don't like about this one, though, I gave him credit for that. I've given Hoop credit the whole show anyways. We're allowed to disagree on something. These are like the two chalkiest like teaser. I can't support this one.
That's okay. Man, I'm on it.
Both teams look like they can't lose, right? Like who was it? The Rams and the Chiefs?
Rams and the Chiefs, yeah.
Yeah, like both of them look like they can't lose on paper. Like it looks like a total lock.
Well,
so I get why I get why it's bad. I get it. It just looks like, man.
Just bet it with us so we can.
Would you got 7.5 to 1.5 with the hook?
If it's 7.5, I'm in with you guys. If they move to 7.5, I need that half though. That's a big half.
Yeah, Hoop. I took the half, and you got it down to 1, so you're fine, Hoop. Don't
see
let
the Rams are 7.5 now too. So if the Chiefs can just move up a half, I'll make it a threesome in here. I'll be in with you guys.
Hoop, you're fine, buddy.
I've profited for the last like 6 years. I just stand by my. If I stick to my rules, Hoop knows this about me. When I start just firing everything, that's when I lose. I got to stick to my rules, my principles.
You're gonna join us on this one. It's just, I mean, it's
fine.
I'm not overly in love with the Chiefs either. I'll just say it like they've been so bad. Like, they've been just so bad. They almost lost to the Giants last week.
Yeah, that is true.
Gosh, I mean, Hoop he looks like he kicked his puppy, man.
Yeah, that's
Poor
sad.
guy.
I mean, it's hurtful.
Hey,
It's like
Tony.
it feels like someone just came through my beautifully manicured lawn with like tire tracks and just like tore up the grass. That's how I feel right now.
All right, I'll resod it for you, buddy. I'm with you. Tony, if we get to 700, can you give a play away today?
Yeah, I got my whole card already up on the sheet. So yeah,
I know.
I'll give away 2 plays.
Ooh, 700, and you get 2 plays from Tony. Oh
Fire
my
up those
God.
YouTube burner accounts.
Oh my God, that is
wow.
that is remarkable.
Tua is not starting. Jacoby Brissett.
What?
That's what Schefter just tweeted.
What the fuck? Well, I got to change my 1 2 lineup. That sucks.
That just saved you some money.
Yeah, right.
The Dolphins more now.
Oh, he has a fractured finger, and he hasn't recovered enough. Jacoby Brissett is now expected to be the Dolphins starting.
It just bails so many people out for their donkey Tua teams.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Tua sucks.
Tua sucks. Okay. Very good. Well, I saved some money then. Anything else we want to talk about with that, or are we just starting to move on here? Do the Texans have a chance to win this thing now?
I mean, I thought they had a chance before. Like Miami's just as bad. Both those teams are bad. When 2 bad teams play, anything can happen.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating news. All right, Tony. Let's get back on the horn here. And we went through Atlanta, Minnesota, Baltimore. I know you like this game. Before you get to the Baltimore side, Thielen has kind of outperformed Jefferson, but everybody's on Jefferson. And what do you think of Dalvin Cook today, since Zimmer came out and said the offense coordinator came out and said they need to get him more carries?
Yeah, I like Minnesota. Jefferson's one of my favorite plays. He hasn't gone off, but he's just waiting. And Baltimore's given up. It feels like they could get carved every week. They take so many chances on defense that a guy like Jefferson's going to be doing his little dance, his same one, the LSU dance, whatever they call that thing, that the Bengals guy does too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love Jefferson.
Just a hero in the chat. Our boy Travis, not to cut you off. He goes, I've already liked on my phone, computer, and watching on YouTube TV. 3 likes for me. Travis, shoot me a message. I'm going to send you some gear. So shoot me a message, and I'll get you hooked up with some gear. Shirt size and address, please.
They do the same thing with the dislikes, right? Like dudes got burner accounts and they just hit it 3 times.
It is kind of impressive. We got 19 dislikes. That's a good number. That's a good solid number. That means we're doing something right.
It all counts the same. I mean, we don't give a shit.
Oh, God. K. Fallick just put in the Discord, switches to Brissett and gives me 1,200. Oh, my God. Fowler.
All right. Now, Falik, I'm off
Now I'm
today.
derailed.
I'm
Oh,
definitely
God. You
off of
cannot
Nico
play
Collins.
Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
is he at least 4K
Titletown.
or
Just play
something?
Chase
Oh,
and
my
JJ
God.
every week in print.
Oh, I'm rattled now.
All right, Hoop.
Ooh.
Let's go to you. We'll let
Oh.
Big T take a couple deep breaths here. Work it out. Give me a little Dalvin Cook. Give me a little Justin Jefferson. What do you got on the Vikings side? And then hit the Ravens.
Yeah, Jefferson's one of those guys. I think every week, especially if you make multiple lineups, you just need to get exposure to him. So much touchdown upside. And then on the Ravens side, seems like a good spot for them just to roll offensively. Lamar, Marquise Brown, really like Mark Andrews. I think Mark Andrews is a phenomenal play this week. They're passing the ball a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, Lamar, come playoff time, will probably shit the bed and a defense will completely shut him down. But in the regular season, these teams just don't have answers. And I think he has a big game here, and he is looking a little better in terms of passing the ball. So love Lamar, love Mark Andrews, and Jefferson on the other side as a run back. I think it's a phenomenal play.
Okay. Big T, are you ready to go here? How about this? Let's just go to the Ravens side. Do you like Lamar today?
Yeah, I mean, I love the Ravens side. They've as much trash as I've talked about Lamar. It's kind of funny. I've talked trash the most about Lamar and Giannis, and they're like the two guys I play more than anybody in DFS. So it's kind of weird, like how that works. But man, this looks like a smash spot for Lamar and Marquise Brown. Still underpriced. I still play him every single week. And the thing I like about Lamar that a lot of people don't is I just think it's like an insanely easy double stack, which I won in tournaments. I've preached this for the 7 years me and Hoop have done shows. Like if I play a quarterback, I want to be able to play, I mean, at least one, but two receivers most times. You got Marquise is obviously my favorite. He's just underpriced, big upside. But then you got Andrews and Bateman, who I think I like both of them too. And I just think the route tree is very low. They don't have running backs, which people don't talk about as much. They just want to do their work through Lamar and through the short passing game, deep passing game to guys like Marquise. I love it. Super easy teams to build. And yeah, it's going to be popular playing Lamar, but that's fine. Like we always say, quarterback, what's he going to get to? 15%? I'm not worried about that. Get in there. I love it. And Minnesota is the perfect run back team. So this is where I'm saying I'm trying to simplify my process. I want games where I can have a run back I like. Obviously on Minnesota, anybody can find a run back you like on Minnesota. Cook, Jefferson, Thielen, Conklin's a great pivot off of Albert O. Even like KJ Osborne, I don't think is just an awful play as a run back. So, yeah, I mean, the dude in the chat, you worried about Watkins back for Bateman. Yeah, I mean, you want Watkins to be out for Bateman, but still, he's cheap. It's a tournament. He's more of like the filler play. He's not the Marquise is the must. Andrews is even more of a steady play. Bateman's more of a dart throw, like a tournament play. So I know what I'm getting with him. He is what he is. He could give me 5. He could give me 20. And I'm okay with that as a tournament player. But I love this game.
All right, guys. Like button 700. You're getting 2 Big T bets. We already got bets from Hoop. And now all you need is 57 more. So that's impressive. We got 1,000 people watching right now. This is awesome. You're back, baby. This is so amazing. Also, RPS Heater 25% off your first payment, a monthly installment. Big night in MMA last night for our subscribers. Hitting golf. Showdown in the NFL Showdown. I don't know if I'd never really played Showdown before joining these guys. Holy moly, has this been amazing. It like the Showdown content to me is my favorite content because it's been profitable so far. Then you've got everything else. You got Hoop, you got Big T, a bunch of studs in there, AP, Tambo. If I'm leaving anybody out, don't worry about it. I love you all. RPS Heater 25% off your first monthly installment. NBA, NFL. Remember that guy hit us up? He's like, I'm not paying $100 a month for NFL. Well, you get every single sport. And if you pay $100, then you also get the bet side. It's only $80. And then you get 25% off. All right, enough of me bloviating. Let's get back to this thing. Big T, Cleveland, Cincinnati. Can you talk to me about Jamar Chase today? And they've been doubling him. And that's why Higgins kind of got a little bit more action the last couple of weeks. Chase is coming off his worst game of the season, and he still had 13 DK points. What do you got with Jamar Chase to start this game off?
Yeah, he's a stud. I put him in that same bracket with guys like Jefferson, and there's a few others in that price range. But I love it, and that's one of the reasons this is another game I kind of like with Burrow, because you have just natural pieces that you're going to love to play with him. T. Higgins is way underpriced, has looked good. Chase gives you the upside, the big playability, and even like Tyler Boyd finally got in the box last week. You got the tight end that's crushed a bunch this year. Use them. How the hell do you say his name? Uzoma. Yeah, you got him too. So you got a bunch of pieces. And then Cleveland, you got some run backs that I don't mind. Nick Chubb is cheap. Like 6,700 feels cheap for him. He can just carve up the Bengals with Hunt out. I mean, we haven't seen it yet, but he could have a monster game today. Landry is going to be somewhat popular because he's 5,100. And then you got lesser pieces like Higgins and Peoples-Jones and any of these cheaper guys. It's another easy stackable game. I don't like it as much as Baltimore, but it's probably my number 2 game as far as games where I have a bunch of interest in.
Okay, Hoop, what do you got on this one? Cincinnati and Cleveland.
Yeah, great game. I mean, I think the Browns kind of come out here and look pretty good without Odell. I mean, Odell's been dog shit all season long. And, Big T's kind of hoping that he ends up on his Colts. I don't think you want him. I mean, I just don't think the guy.
He's got to be better than those dust buckets that the Colts have.
Man, can you imagine shifting targets from Pittman to Odell? I mean, Pittman's a freaking stud.
I just want to shift them from whatever that horrible number 2 guy's name is. Who?
Pascal.
Yeah, I want to shift him from Pascal to OBJ.
Pascal might be better. But this is a great game. Chubb, I agree. Like, not kind of flying under the radar a little. I don't know. Like, I haven't heard a lot about Chubb. I think he's just a great play here. Good price tag. Good spot. Love him.
I'm gonna have a Chubb in my pants playing him today.
Yeah, that's for sure. Like we're locked arm in arm. We're gonna go double Chubb to the winner's circle. And then on the Bengals side, I mean, Higgins continues to be real cheap on DK at 5.3. Don't even hate Boyd. Chase, I think, obviously in tournaments continues to come in pretty low on just because of the price tag, but great game here for fantasy purposes. A lot of different options, and none of them really break the bank either. I mean, they're all pretty reasonably priced.
Real quick, guys, we got the Runpure Sports Tournament of Champions. It's free. If you go to the playbook that Hoop does, just go to NFL, scroll down on the playbook. Big T giving away free stuff like every single week, and we still don't fill it from our subscribers. It doesn't make sense to me. Does it make sense to you?
It's been one of the mysteries. We've only done this 2 years, but it blows my mind. Either people don't know about it or they just don't like free money. Yeah, I mean, you look at it, it says free. We got 501 out of 1,000. We got, it should fill every week because we got way more than 1,000 people on the site. It's free. Like, yeah, you look at the prizes, it says there's only 543, but that's just the DK price. Even if it was just that, it's still free money. First place wins a Wildcat ticket, bunch of millies, but we're giving 1,000 a week too in prizes, just cash, just to give back, because we like giving back to the community. We like to just get that mojo going with everyone in Discord. So it's just unbelievable that the thing doesn't fill. I don't get it. If someone can explain to me, I would love to hear it, because even I get in it every week just for fun to see how I do. Who knows? Maybe I hit a Wildcat ticket. I'm not scared to take that Wildcat ticket from the people.
You're not scared.
No, I mean,
He's not scared.
I wouldn't be upset if I won it.
He ain't scared. You shouldn't be scared either. If he ain't scared, you shouldn't be scared.
Yeah. All
right, let's keep going. Last 1 o'clock game. Hoop, Vegas, and the Gigantes. Boy, there's some pretty tough decisions in here. I mean, if you're just going to full fade the game, fine, but you might be able to dig up a guy or two. I know JSU is on some of these Raiders and Giants. Are you on any of the guys in this game?
I think this is I don't know if it's necessarily sneaky, but a game that has just a lot of fantasy options on both sides. Like Jacobs, you were on him a couple weeks ago. He had that big first half and then got hurt. Renfro, I love. Hunter Renfro, I absolutely love. I mean, slight boost, obviously, with Ruggs now gone, but Renfro, great price tag, 4.8 on DraftKings, 5.6 on FanDuel. Love him. Darren Waller, I think, should benefit from. I believe they're on bye last week, and he was a little bit dinged up, so should benefit from that extra time off. On the Giants side, Devontae Booker continues to get a lot of work. Kadarius Toney, I have some interest in. So yeah, like 5 or 6 guys that I like, but Renfro is probably my favorite play from this game.
What do you got, Big T? What do you like in this game?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a good game too, because you got the Raiders don't play a ton of D. Giants, we've seen them play bad defense too, depending on a couple of these games where they got carved. They did look good against the Chiefs, but so the interesting part for me, man, I was hoping Galladay would be out. Like if Galladay was out, I think Toney would be like a total lock at that price.
Agree.
It's a little bit annoying that Galladay is going to play just because I think he's going to play. Holden, is he going to play?
Yeah, they're saying he's good to go today.
The dude in the Discord just says Tournament of Champions link is last week's contest. No,
not anymore.
I just clicked it right now and it worked.
I got in there. Yeah, if you tried it, you know what? Like last night around 5 o'clock, if you try to get in there, no. But if you can get in there right now. And it's
since we talked about it, there's already I said 501, right? And now
we were at 499. Now we're at
541. So 40 people signed up in 30 seconds since we talked about it. That just tells me people don't know about it. But I don't know about this Giants game. Booker, a lot of these guys are going to be popular, or at least a little bit popular. Booker, Renfro, Toney, even Waller should get some ownership. I don't know. I'm just a little bit worried about this game. Again, it's 2 bad teams. The Raiders are in shambles too with the Gruden stuff, now the Ruggs stuff. I don't know. It feels like this game could get ugly. So maybe I'll be lower on this game than the field.
Pretty sure. You know what? It is a little bit ugly too because the Daniel Jones sucks at home too. It's very weird.
He was the guy I had on my list. So just folded. I'll give that because we're up to 665. Thing. So I had Danny Dimes in my quarterback pool. He was the last one I pulled out because this projection looks good. The Raiders matchup looks good. Everything kind of feels right. But man, then you click on him. Like this is what I'm saying about outsmarting yourself at quarterback. You can play Lamar, who has a bad game and does good. Danny Dimes, I feel like he's been decent this year, right? Like in my head, he's been decent. So I pull him up 17, 8, 4, 30, and 16 the last. So he's had one good game in his last 8 games. Like why am I trying to force it? I told myself, and I'm just going to stand by it. Like, I don't get it. Yeah, these guys, 1 or 2 of these cheaper quarterbacks will do good today, but a bunch of these guys are going to get you like 12 too. And I don't want 12. I'd rather just play one of those other guys.
Yeah, Danny Dimes isn't doing it for me. Again, it's just weird. You just went through his game log, right? Like, what is his game? What's his game log at home? It's kind of what I want to look at real quick. Not that this is keeping
I still got it up right here. Versus Carolina, 17. The Rams, 8. Atlanta, 16. And Denver, 22.
Nothing special.
No. Yeah, I mean, 22 is his best game at home. And look at the teams he played. No. They're not any better than the Raiders. I mean, I guess the Rams. Yeah, I mean, he was awful versus the Rams. Yeah. So, but yeah,
a lot of people are. Okay, here's an interesting one. 4 o'clock games now, Tony. Chargers, Eagles, and the Chargers are missing their top 2 corners. They can't stop the run. On the other side, Philadelphia, they're going to get shredded by Eckler, in my estimation, today. Either Williams or Allen is going to go off. Who knows about Jared Cook? I think sneakily there could be some plays in here. I just want to get your thoughts on who those plays would be.
Yeah, I agree. And the Chargers side is a lot easier because the Chargers are another team. I know I've talked about this a bunch, but the route tree is super condensed where I can feel good playing Herbert because everything's going through Eckler, Keenan, Mike Williams, maybe a little Jared Cook, but you don't really have to worry. Sure, some of these other guys will get a target here and there, but these guys are getting so much volume that you just have to like it. So their side's easy. I like all of those guys versus Philly. The Philly side's where it gets more complicated. I've tried to make some of these guys happen, Devontae Smith, I think he's like the next guy after Jacoby, where I've played him all year. He just has never got there, and I just don't see it. The one guy I'm coming back with, though, Holden talked about it on Up the Lock, got me on it a little, but Boston Scott, I know people are laughing, but he got all the work, 12 carries, 60.
Howard too.
Yeah, Howard's going to get like some of the like true carries, but Boston Scott, I just think he's their best option at running back. They obviously don't trust Gainwell because he didn't play till the fourth quarter. I definitely think you can cut. Boston Scott's 5,200. I'll take Boston Scott over a chalky Gaskin. I'll go with that. And no, Boston Scott's going to be 2% owned. Gaskin's going to be 25% owned. I'll take my chances with Boston Scott against a Chargers team that hasn't stopped any running backs. They just keep destroying them. So that's kind of where I'm at. I don't really want to pay that price for Goddard. Like, so we talked about Albert O being 26. I mean, Goddard's like basically double his price. I have a really hard time paying an extra $2K for basically the same guy in my mind. Yeah, he's a little better, but still the price is double. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. Chargers guys, Boston Scott.
Justin Jefferson is wearing a free Odell shirt right now. Yeah, that's because he paid you after you won the championship. My God, this guy. You know what? If we start talking about him, though, I'm going to go off. We got 20 minutes till the inactives. I don't know if we want to stay on that long or not, but who knows? Hoop! It's been a while, buddy. It's been a while. So talk to me about Jalen Hurts first. Is this just a cash play or is the ceiling there?
We saw last week the risk of, Hurts playing with a lead, which hasn't happened a lot this season. Right. And he's had all these big games. Last week they end up running in a couple touchdowns, which weren't him. Obviously he busts for the first time all season long. We clearly want him in these trailing game scripts. This could be it this week, potentially. In terms of the rest of the Eagles guy, I don't know. I don't see any reason to be on these wide receivers. There's no consistency. Like it's like naked Hurts or nothing. And I think he's a fine play, but I think I prefer the other guys. And then on the Charger side, Austin Eckler's a phenomenal play. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, kind of hard for me this week because that tier right below them, like that 5K range, are just so many viable guys. I think I'm prioritizing the 5K range over Keenan and Mike Williams. But I like Eckler. I think Herbert's fine. 50 total here. And I don't think ownership is going to be super, super high in this game. So if you're game stacking, I don't hate this one. But, Eckler would definitely be my favorite play in this game.
I'm just going to circle back to this Jacoby Brissett thing, right? He's going for Miami today. I was just looking at the target share, almost 20% for Gesicki. I know there's a couple guys that are on Gesicki today. Shit, I might need so I'm not gonna go mess my whole lineups up, but yeah, Gesicki he could be out there. We got over 1,000 watching now. Boy, we get to 700. What are we getting from you, Big T? We're getting something, right?
Yeah, 2 winners, I said.
Woo!
Plus the plays of the day from all of us.
Hey, listen, I've been waiting for the 700 all season long, so let's get there, guys.
We got it opening day, didn't we? I remember you called your shot, but that was before Simon scolded us about rewarding the viewers.
This was no rewards.
I always forget that word. That's such a good word to use too. What was that word?
Quid pro quo.
Yeah,
three
I like
Latin
that.
Words. Yeah, quid pro quo. My favorite is al fresco. That means outdoors, correct? I don't know. I think it is. And
sure.
Yeah, I mean, you went al fresco with your wife. I think that's wonderful. I'm jealous. I mean, anyways, Hoop, Green Bay, Kansas City. Let's do it. I know there's a lot of people that are going all the way down to Love. Maybe, I don't know if they're doing it. You and I actually talked about that on the Cash Show. Like, where are you on Love right now?
Yeah, we kind of talked about it in the opening too. Like as the week went on and some of these plays kind of began to stabilize, I don't know if you need to go down there. I mean, you're really not getting many upgrades. Like if I'm going to play a 4.4K quarterback, I want to get multiple upgrades. And the way it's shaking out with these lineups, you're really probably only getting one upgrade. So I don't think you need to. Can you? Absolutely. I think you absolutely can play this guy at quarterback in cash games. The hope is he gets like 15 fantasy points. If he gets to 15, you're probably fine, unless like some of these top tier quarterbacks absolutely go off. So yeah, I think he's fine in cash games. Am I going to play any of his weapons? No. Will the Packers offense probably suffer a little bit here with him at quarterback? Yeah, absolutely. So not a great spot here for their offense overall. Love is a grinded out, hope he grinds out to like 15 fantasy point type play. I don't see a huge ceiling. We'll say though, good matchup against this Chiefs poor defense. And then on the Chiefs side, Travis Kelce has not looked great. He is a little older, mid-30s. I mean, potentially starting to slow down a little bit. Not sure what it is, but honestly, he just has not looked good. I mean, not clean out of these routes, a lot of tripping and falling, and just hasn't looked great. So I won't be playing him today. Maybe he's a good tournament play. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say on him. The guy I do like, though, Tyreek Hill, I think now they started to realize these teams are doing everything possible to take away the deep balls, and we kind of saw them transform a little bit last week with a ton of short things to Tyreek Hill. I think that continues this week, which is great for DraftKings scoring. I think he had 5 catches on the first drive. Like if they're going to use him with all this little short dink and dunk type stuff, that's great for his fantasy purposes. So really like Tyreek, as the top wide receiver today. Hardman, I'm going to continue to play. Super cheap, 3.9K is on the field a ton. They use them in a lot of different ways. So Tyreek, Hardman are my favorites. Love, you can play, if you're looking for a quarterback to grind out 15 fantasy points or whatnot.
Oh, 2 away from 700. I'm so excited. Big T, did I even talk to you about this game? To be honest with you, I was doing some research.
You did not, but yeah.
Yeah, please. Sorry for derailing the show.
I wasn't going to. So up until right now, I wasn't going to play Devontae Adams. And this is why I liked on the show, just because, like, it hit me like, why not just play unowned Devontae Adams when no one's going to play him? I don't have any spins up, so I need to put him back in my player pool. Chiefs defense has been terrible. Chiefs defense is going to be chalk too today. And Devontae, who knows? Maybe he has a big game unowned. I'm going to put him back in my pool. I wasn't going to play him. I don't know. This game, though, like everyone's going to look at guys like Aaron Jones and stuff like that. Is this game just going to be low owned all around? My worry is the Green Bay clearly is going to want to run the ball. And if they do get the ground game going, that clock's going to churn, which is going to severely limit the upside of a lot of these expensive guys. I don't know. Like, man, I'm conflicted on this game more than I usually am because I want to fade. I almost wish it was chalky because, like, if you told me all these guys are chalky, I would fade for sure. But I kind of feel like they're all going to end up low owned outside of Tyreek Hill. Everyone's going to want to play Tyreek Hill. But the rest of the game, I don't see anyone else that should be high owned, which is kind of interesting because it still has a pretty high total, even with Rodgers out, obviously. And I don't know. I don't want too much of this game. I'm not playing the quarterbacks. I could play Mahomes if I wasn't playing Lamar or Josh Allen. I just would rather play Lamar or Josh Allen. So like I said, I'm limiting my player pool. Not going to go with him. So give me just, one piece max, though. Devontae, Tyreek, Kelce. I'm not going to play Hardman this week. Not going to play any of those cheaper guys either this week.
Hold on a second. He's out. Let me see here. James Robinson is out. Okay. Just so you know, if you, that's Ian Rappaport, just in case you are interested in that. James Robinson is out today because of that heel, and I don't think that really makes a difference for anything, personally. And what are you going to do, run Carlos Hyde out there? No.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. 12 minutes till the...
I'll say one more thing about this game before you... So in a Millie Maker format, people always like these just insane low-owned plays in a 150. I don't think like Derek Gore at 4K is like the worst play of all time. I mean, we just saw him look really good on Monday night. What if they go back and watch the film and they're like, man, this guy is just better than Darrell Williams? He's 4K. Like, you get down into that just extreme cheap price point for running back. And I don't know. I don't hate taking a stab in a Millie Maker 150 where all of it is up top. say you just get the game where they just give him the ball because the Rodgers is out. Green Bay can't move the ball. The Chiefs just pound them, and they get Derek Gore a bunch of looks. Say he gets in the 20s for 4K at 1% owned. That's how you can win a Millie Maker type format.
All right, so we got to 700, buddy. We got to 700. Let's get Hoops breakdown of this game, and then we'll get your plays here. But congratulations, men and ladies. I'm happy for you. You stepped up today. That means a lot. We love doing this show for free for you, and the fact that you actually gave some love back is awesome. You also won't be melted by hot lava, so that's good as well. All right, Hoop, let's do it, man. What do you got?
In this Packers game?
Well, I mean, it's the last one.
I already talked about it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm out of it today, dude.
That's all right.
You know what?
Fine.
The Chargers just went to a pick 'em against the Eagles. So I'm going to get burned by the Chargers again because I'm going to back them again. It's just awful. I don't know why I do this to myself.
Where's that? I would definitely. I'm not
Bet Rivers.
for sure.
Bet Rivers.
Really?
If you got Bet Rivers, the Denver City Cast, amazing show. All right, guys, let's do it. Big T.
Are we not going to talk about the Arizona game?
Yeah. Like I said, dude, I'm a mess right now. Let's talk about the Arizona game.
I mean, it's not going to be a ton for me to talk about
Nothing.
The Arizona game because I'm looking at it. Debo is really hurt. Eli Mitchell, I think, is banged up too. People will go to like Ayuk. Rondell Moore actually is the one guy that I have a little interest in just because they're so short-handed. They could throw some dump-offs to a guy like Rondell
What if
Moore.
Kyler doesn't play?
I mean, I don't think he's going to play. I'm proceeding like he doesn't play. So
Okay, him and Hopkins does. There's been a couple reports.
I'm proceeding like they
look
don't play. If they somehow do play, I mean, I wouldn't like anyone in the game. I almost wish they did play just because I still wouldn't play anybody, and it'll just limit the rest of the guys too. So I don't know. There's a lot of question marks in this game for an afternoon game where we want to make a lot of decisions in the morning just leading up through the slate. If you wait on a lot of these question marks, it just makes it tough. You can kind of pivot onto some of these based on news, but I'm not going to anchor my flag to anything in this game.
All right. Hoop, let's do it. Last game. Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, like when there's big injury situations, we expect guys to get like massive boosts. There's just too many question marks here. Like Kyle, I'm assuming Kyler. I'm proceeding like Kyler's out. Do I want any of these guys on the Cardinal side? Hell no, I don't. Like, absolutely not. And then on the 49er side, Kittle's back, limited. Eli Mitchell's dinged up. Debo, like way too many question marks. There's only 4 p.m. Eastern games today. I think you're best suited just to kind of ignore this game.
Like nothing, just completely faded.
Yeah,
I know I'm hearing a lot of Ayuk in the chat. Ayuk, because they came out and he yelled at Shanahan. Shanahan yelled at him, and now he gets it, and the team's on his back. But I don't know about that. We'll find out.
What are they saying about my boy Kittle, Holden? You always know the news. They said he's going to play half the game. How'd they decide half the game?
Probably like a snap count. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I always think about these things? It's like, all right, let's say the game flow and it's a tie ball game and you got him on a snap count, and then the fourth quarter comes along and you need him for 2 whole fucking drives.
Yeah. That's
There
what I
goes the
mean.
snap
I don't
count.
get it. And how do you decide what the number is going to be? Like if he's playing, I don't understand that whole thing.
Well,
but he is cheap. If somehow you had a lean, he would play. He's super cheap.
Yeah, and then the other thing, though, you could say the same thing about CMC today too. But I kind of feel like that's a different.
Well, he's expensive though. Is the difference?
Yes.
Kittle's cheap.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
All right, want to get your plays? They hit it.
Yeah,
700.
Let me pull him up here.
All right, beautiful. Looking forward to it. It's going to be great. While he's looking for that, we've got the Up to Lock show. So the inactives are going to drop in 8 minutes. The inactives drops in 8 minutes. Me, JSU, we're going to go down all that stuff. We'll take your questions up to lock just like we do every week. And then JJ, who swept the board on his college plays yesterday, JJ is going to join us to talk about some bets too. So for those of you that are subscribers, get in there. You know what's going to happen here within the next 8-9 minutes or so. And then we'll do the inactives. We'll get the plays from JSU. And if you're not a subscriber and you want to get in, you got a couple more minutes to do it. RPS Heater 25. RPS Heater 25, 25% off your first payment of a monthly installment. Okay, Big T, what do you got?
Yeah, I got a bunch of plays up on the bet side. If you're a member, check them out. We got a ton of stuff. It looks like Keg's got stuff up, Dunkel, Tyler, all kinds of stuff up on the site. So check it out, definitely over there. But for the free ones, I want to give a good one that's not super chalky. So which one should I give? Yeah, let's go with the Panthers. Everybody's kind of been on the Patriots. Patriots have looked pretty good. No one's gonna like the Panthers today. Plus 3.5 at home, plus the money line, plus 150. I think the Panthers can easily beat the Patriots. The Patriots have been playing good, but I still don't. I'm not sold on that team. I think the public will be on New England in this game. I'm on the Panthers, and then I like to go for the second one. I like Holden's play though. Zach Moss to score 2 touchdowns plus 700.
2 touchdowns.
Plus 700, Holden.
Listen, I already got those bets. I was like, oh, shit. This morning I woke up, I looked at the bet sheet. I said, oh, shit, he's all in on my Moss play. That's
I
right.
play all your plays. I keep telling you that.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not too prideful. I'll steal your guys' good plays. When you guys make good plays, I'll steal them.
I mean, again, I said this. There's a lot of smart people that are cherry pickers. Probably the best writer that I know just takes everybody else's ideas and then he puts in those stories. One of the best. You would
be stupid to not listen to smart people, wouldn't you? I could argue you'd be even dumber to not listen to people.
Correct.
That are smarter.
So you've got your own process. You got all your plays. You listen to 1 or 2 guys. You take some ancillary plays.
Put it all together,
and you look smart. That's it.
Correct.
It's as simple as that. All right, we're ready to go. We're getting out of here, guys. Got the Up to Lock show coming up
watch
next.
the Up to Lock so you can give me some winners like every week.
Oh shit! Harrison Smith is inactive for the Vikings. Their safety.
I heard all morning. I didn't want to bring it up because I don't like saying it unless I know. But I heard Minnesota's going to have a bunch of guys out with COVID stuff.
Oof, that could be big. Well, we'll keep an eye on that. Again, the big news that just broke. There is no James Robinson in case, 1 or 2 of you were playing him today. JSU and myself up to lock. JJ from the bet side. Hoop, wonderful job today. Thank you for getting us to 500 and 600. Thank you very much, Big T. Appreciate that for getting us to 700. Simon, hold on. Don't get us out of here yet. We got plays of the day. I forgot all about that. Yeah. Plays of the day. Let's do the workbench. We got to do the workbench play of the day.
Yeah. I'm
a little out of it today, guys. It's all right. Workbench play of the day. Let's do it.
I wasn't sure who it was going to be. I got a couple guys I love that went through, but on my Twitter timeline right now, I see one of my favorites wearing the free OBJ shirt. Mr. Justin Jefferson going to explode today for $180 and 2. Sign me up for him.
Wow. Hoop, rich parents, leaf blower, whatever the hell play of the day.
Did you see this machine he had out the other day, Holden? This guy was pushing this friggin' machine through his yard. It was swooping up all kinds of leaves. Yeah. Just very impressive stuff.
Yeah, I had that on the agenda this weekend. If you were going to make your way up here, me and you I was going to give you lessons on how to use it because it truly is a game changer. I mean, this thing sucks up leaves, twigs, dead grass. I mean, just a phenomenal product. More videos to come because the leaves continue to fall. So this week, I'll give you guys another video on it's called the Billy Goat. Great product. Rich Parents Play of the Day, though. We are going to the Raiders 100 Run Pro is going to be the Rich Parents Play of the Day.
Oh.
10 catches,
give another one.
10 catches, 100 yards for 100 Run Pro.
How many straight times have I given you credit for your play? Like 73 straight. You got on the tournament side every time. Now you come back to full circle to the slow whitey with the 14 point. Oh.
Big T is racist and hates white wide receivers.
That's because they get 14 every game. They
hates
never go
every
off.
white wide receiver in the NFL. Gives them no credit. 100 Run Pro taking us to the winner's circle today. 10 catches, 100 yards.
Oh my God.
Maybe a touchdown too. We'll see.
By the way, now Malik Reed is out. Holy shit.
I told you they're all gonna be out.
This is for the Broncos. I wonder if they got some Drew Lock is out because the COVID. Listen, we'll talk about that up to lock. Now Malik Reed is out. They already traded Von Miller. They already have 7 guys on IR. Boy, if you didn't already like Ezekiel Elliott today, that is going to be nasty.
Get me excited.
Yeah,
Hang on, let me find something else. I can't end on Big T.
Yeah.
Now, here, I'll give my
us
play,
freaking Renfro.
then you
Give us
take your
anything
play.
else.
Yeah.
You've been doing so good with the upside plays.
You know, screw
Renfro's
that.
not
I'm
an
sticking with
upside
Renfro.
play.
Thank
you know what?
you.
He does have upside on
No,
DK.
he does
He's-
not.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not
Stop.
choosing another. It's Renfro.
You know,
Renfro's a cash play.
And I'm throwing in the TD. 10 catches, 100 yards,
Fuck yeah,
and a
Hoop.
touchdown.
Don't
Let's
let
go.
Big T talk you
Yeah,
off
you're
your
not
bets.
pulling me out of it. You're not
And
going to try to.
No.
You're not going to diminish my play. Hell no. I'm
Oh.
sticking with it. You're a
I've been
bully.
so excited with his
You're a
plays.
bully.
He's had so many plays that like I'm like, oh, I didn't think Hoop would say that. I didn't, and then he's full circle back to the slow whiteys.
I mean,
Oh, I
sometimes
can't
you
wait
just
till
got to
he
do
crushes.
stuff that's uncomfortable, right?
No, Renfro's
Give me
not.
some Zach
wait.
Moss. You know that. I'm all over Zach Moss today. Let's get out of here so I can go hang out with JSU up to
How'd you
lock.
get your hair to look that good, Holden?
I just wake up.
What do you put in it though? Like what?
Water. Today was just water,
There's
buddy.
got to be
Wow.
something else.
No,
in
there was
Yeah,
water,
there's
and
definitely
you know
a
what it
product
was?
in there. That thing
It's
was
a
still
little
wet.
shiny
How's
today.
it still wet if there's nothing in it?
Look, there's not.
Are you dipping
Because-
low in between shots and
No. I
rewatering?
forgot. I put coconut oil on my face, and then it's a little shiny, but that was it. Yeah, I'm serious.
The
All right,
guy in the
inactives
chat,
are out.
Hammer
Sticker-
for 74 says he'd rather play rugs over runs.
Oh God, Renfro.
Oh
not
my
how I wanted
gosh!
to end
What the fuck?
That's
That's horrible.
Did you guys see that video, by the way, where they
Oh,
showed
my
him
gosh.
driving how
Yeah.
fast he was going?
Holy shit, that is.
I mean,
yeah,
that thing was like a freaking airplane.
It was like this sound it was fast, very fast. That thing was just.
You know I'm off
so
of today.
sad.
I am completely off of Elijah Mitchell now. I am off.
Are you? You better be completely off Hunter Renfro. I would get Hoop to make
Oh.
another play.
I don't mind
Can't
Hunter
do it
Renfro.
now.
Oh.
I don't mind
Can't
for
do it.
salary
The
relief.
chat, the chat is getting in on it. Like they're disgusted by it. They're
Hoop, I'm riding with you today.
Yeah.
I'm riding
You always
with
ride
you.
with Hoop. What do you mean?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
ride with him every freaking
And
time.
Junior,
Yeah.
fuck
You
you.
put
I
two
do not
units
dye
on
my
his
hair
play.
anymore. It's been a year since I dyed my hair. This is not dyed hair. Not anymore, buddy. It's genetic.
Yeah,
We-
Holden looks good.
Can we leave
Good-looking
now?
gentleman.
Here we
Yeah.
go. We got to react to all the inactives. Subscribers, get over there right now. Although the show's not up. Simon, thanks for the great work today. Get us out of here.